Hello everyone, my name's Caden. Welcome back to more. Why can I never remember the game when I'm not looking at its name? Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Dual Destinies. Last time we completed the third case finally, which I really loved. I honestly thought the third case was fantastic. And now we move to the fourth case, the Cosmic Turnabout. Very curious to see what this is. Very curious name. Let's see. The Cosmic Turnabout. Oh, hey. The courtroom bombing incident. A terrible attack launched by the will of a madman. That incident perfectly symbolized the state of the legal world in this dark age of the law. Mr. Wright brought it to a resolution of sorts. Head Tonite was discovered to be the one responsible for the bombing. If only it were that simple. Somehow I can't help but think. There's a darker influence at work. One that's lurking in the shadows, waiting. That's why I want to review that trial, the trial that was taking place when the bombing occurred. After all, I've got more than a few personal stakes in it. Episode 4, The Cosmic Turnabout. Alright. Whoa, what the? Animated cutscene. Starring in a satellite. Seems like we're gonna be dealing with space stuff, right? Rocket.
1 hour remaining until launch.
Ooh.
Please begin your final equipment check.
Check complete. Everything's a-okay.
Please tell me the whole thing
We're
ain't
ready
gonna
here whenever you
explode.
are.
What did I just say? What did I just say?
Come in at 2. Come in. Do you copy?
I don't think... Oh, God. It ain't looking hot. Ugh. Okay. He's just dead. Whoever that is. Oh, we're starting the... Oh, wait, what? Hang on. District Court Defendant Lobby number 5? It's usually number 3 or 4, right? Still, though, I just realized the save said it, didn't it? Hang on. It did. I should have noticed that. We're not doing an investigation. We're starting straight in the trial. Do we have anything in the court record? This is Apollo, obviously. Karen's autopsy report. Cause of death, stabbing. The victim was discovered in the 3rd floor boarding lounge in the main building. Oh, so that's the guy where... That's the victim. Alright. Alright, so that was the guy that was walking. The latest lawyer joined our agency, lived in Europe, studied psychology, once retired but made his return. Aspiring magician. The victim in this case, he was a Hat 2 crew member and a close friend of mine. Clay Taryn. Time for another trial to begin. This one is different. It's a friend this time, that's the victim. Sorry to bar you, but... Oh, Juniper! Are you alright, Paulo? Was I making a scary face just now? Oh, hi, Juniper. Yes, I'm fine. I was just doing my Cores of Steel exercises. Now I'm all ready to go. Yes, knowing you, I'm sure you'll be just fine. So I'm wondering if she actually quit. She didn't quit being a judge, did she? Okay, no. It's just this is a different outfit. Well, actually, no, that makes sense. Obviously, she doesn't have to wear the student outfit everywhere.
Oh, I brought you a present from my garden.
Aw. Is that lotus? A lotus fruit?
That's right. My grandma says lotus fruit is good for your eyes.
Aw.
She even says that if you look through the holes, it can help you see into the future. It's for good luck. Maybe later you can cook and...
Thanks for this. I'm gonna have some right now.
Oh, my.
Kinda tough. Oh.
You can't eat raw, but thank you for the enthusiastic try.
Oops. If she didn't think me weird before, she will now. Gotta calm down.
Apollo, I'm sorry I'm late. Hi, Athena. Junie, I didn't know you were coming today.
So this is before Ted tonight actually blew up the courtroom. And before Juniper. So Juniper was supposed to somewhat be in this case. Like, was she a witness somehow?
Did you come to cheer Apollo on? Oh, I get it. You sly little thing, you. Athena, stop.
Quit kidding around, Athena. The trial's about to start any second. Is everything all set?
Oh, Apollo. When will you ever figure it out?
Figure what out? Wow, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard. Oh. Oh, this is it. It's all over for me. You're gonna find me guilty. I assume you're the person that Zach was probably... wait. Okay, I think you can already tell who I kept thinking this character looked like. This is... I assume this is the character that Clay was carrying. This is our client, one Mr. Solomon Sol Starbuck. He's a very famous astronaut who happens to be an acquaintance of mine. You don't know it right now, but he's usually a very upbeat and driven person. The scene of the crime this time happened to be the Cosmos Space Center. Back in high school, my best friend and I went there almost a little too much. But that's where we met Mr. Starbuck. We'd ask about space travel, and he'd launch into story after story with so much passion. Back in those days, the man was 100% my hero. Are you sure you're okay with being my lawyer, Apollo? Of course I'm sure. I know you, Mr. Starbuck. I know you're not the type to commit murder. Thanks, but... I was supposed to be in space right about now. He's so depressed, it almost seems like he's in an act. The launch getting called off must have been a huge shock. Yeah, I'll probably never get the chance to go into space again. Don't say that. Don't stop believing. Besides, you just have to go into space again. Yeah, I don't think I could face Clay in the afterlife to just rot away in a cell.
Hey, Taryn. Can't believe he was murdered. I mean, he was such a promising astronaut under your command.
Yeah, he was a good guy. Always there to pick me up when I was down. No one loved life as much as him, that's for sure. And he was always so full of energy, telling me, "You're fine, Mr. Starbuck." How could something like this happen to a guy like him, huh? I've never seen Mr. Starbuck so down. Clay's gone and I'm gonna go into prison. Wish I could burn up like a shooting star right now. Mr. Starbuck, you'll be fine. What is it? What's with the yelling? I'll get to the bottom of this today. You'll see. In exchange, I want you to go back into space. It's for you and Clay. Promise? Does that mean you have lots of evidence to prove my innocence? Oh, well, about that. We didn't get to investigate the areas as much as I'd like, thanks to the police. I'm done for. I'm a goner. Everybody thinks I did it. thought I was gonna soar like a comet. Now I'm just gonna crash like a meteorite.
No, don't say that, Mr. Starbuck. Don't count yourself out yet.
I know it's hard to lose a teammate, but you've gotta keep going. You alright, Thena?
And what about you, Apollo?
What about me?
I was just thinking, wasn't Clay your best friend?
We need to focus on the trial right now. Are you all ready to go? Damn, Apollo. I feel like this has gotta be real tough for Apollo. I mean, it's literally his best friend, he's saying. I don't know about you, but if a best friend of mine died, I don't think I'd be able to form any coherent thoughts. Like, I don't know. My mind would just... I mean, I know how easily I get flustered and just lose control of my emotions and thoughts as is. If something big like that happened, I can't even imagine. I feel like I'd just be incoherent. It's a scary thought.
Apollo.
The trial's about to begin. The defense, please proceed to the courtroom.
Okay, here we go.
This is it. This is one trial I can't afford to lose. For Clay's sake and our clients, I will find Clay's killer. This is gonna be hard because it's a knife in the chest, it looked like. The only people I think who could be, like, suspects are, of course, those alive in the spaceship, right? Because that's where the murder occurred. So, unless they can prove someone somehow snuck on board and, like, caused the bombing to prevent the spaceship from going up, then, well, there's really no one else other than Solomon. His name was Solomon, right? Hey, I'm here. Day 1, court is now in session. All rise. Oh, there's the bomb case. Oh, wait. I just saw Apollo. Hang on. Hang on. First of all, your name... Okay, it is Solomon. The defendant in this case. He was a HAT 2 crew member and mentor to the victim. The court is now in session for the trial of Solomon Starbuck. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Okay, that's interesting. Why do I have the eye patch? I can understand why the bandages existed on Apollo during the first case, because he was injured in the explosion. But why do I got the eye bandage? I'm gonna ask the same question. Excuse me, Mr. Justice? Yes, Your Honor? What happened to your eye? I'm fine. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Are you sure? I don't... I'm fine, Your Honor. The defense is ready.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. He's been like this since yesterday. He keeps insisting it's just a sty.
I suppose it's something he doesn't want to discuss. Maybe he's entering a touchy age. Bro, I'm 25, I think, in this game. Very well. And the prosecution? Prosecution appears to be ready as well.
Silence!
Never mind. Blackwell? Not yet. I'm not quite ready yet. Great! We just started, Blackwell! Blackwell, we literally just began! The prosecution is now ready.
Well, it didn't take him long this time.
Literally the beginning of the trial! Great!
What's up with Blackwell?
Actually, now that I think about it, Apollo's right. Something seems... If Blackwell was ready to just immediately break the shackles, then he must be especially irritated with something. Does he have some sort of connection with this case? Now then, I shall give the opening statements.
Silence!
No. Never mind. I'll do it. You will? What an unexpected surprise. This time, I can't leave it to anyone else. I see. Something is off with the two of you today. Yeah? You both seem different somehow. Seems that both both Apollo and Blackwell have something to do with this case as well, in terms of connections. Very well, Prosecutor Blackwell. Your opening statement, if you would. It was just yesterday. The crimes in question occurred at the Cosmos Space Center. Oh, that famous federal research facility of all things related to astrology, right? Astronomy. It's astronomy. Anyway, a rocket was set to launch from there. But at 9:28 a.m., before they could even move the rocket to the launch site, big explosion. 2 explosive devices were detonated, and the launch was cancelled. My word, 2 bombs. How dreadful. The defendant in today's trial is charged with both the bombing and with murder. One Mr. Solomon Starbuck. For whatever inane reason, he detonated a bomb on the rocket he himself would be in. Mr. Solomon Starbuck? I recognize that name. Isn't he that famous astronaut? I'm also going to lower the audio just a little smidgy. There we go. Correct your boldness. Mr. Starbuck was the pilot of the Hat-1 rocket 7 years ago. As you may recall, despite some interstellar trouble, his mission was a success. Some say it was a miracle he returned alive. I suppose you could say he's a living legend. Oh, I remember now. He's become something of an international celebrity, right? Huh. They even turned that incident into a movie and everything. The Hat-1 miracle. Come along on a captivating space odyssey that will take your breath away. Mankind's hope for the future. I've got to make it back alive. We got a real space pioneer in court today. But even heroes tumble from their lofty heights. Returning to the subject at hand. Ah, yes. The victim was one Mr. Clay Terran, a subordinate of the defendant. Apologies. I just woke up. Indeed. A loyal disciple brutally stabbed to death by his mentor. Stabbed to death, you say? You mean his death wasn't a result of the bombing? That's immediately something that's very curious to me. The death wasn't that... He could have just easily... The killer could have easily just killed him with a bomb. It would have been super simple to just kill him with a bomb. Super simple. But no. No. Instead, he's just killed with a knife. Correct. Despite his lofty dreams, the victim was seen as an interloper by the defendant. And so, he was sent not into space, but to the universe which we mortals cannot see. Clay. I think I've heard enough. The case seems pretty clear-cut at this point. However, there's one thing I'm curious about. That metal box next to the witness stand. That's the bomb. What purpose does it serve exactly? Since you asked so nicely. It's your coffin. Have mercy on me! I didn't think you'd be that scared. I jest. It's evidence. Due to its immense size, we've little choice but to lay it where it rests now. We shall get to the contents of the box in due time. I feel like I just lost 50 years off my life. Judge, that can't be good. How old are you? Does he even have 50 years left? That's what I'm asking. Inner monologue, Athena. Inner monologue. Enough jabbering. I am here! Bobby Fulbright's the name. In justice we trust. Ah, Detective Fulbright. Very well. Then, please explain the details of this incident to the court, if you would. On it. First, take a look at this pamphlet from the Cosmos Space Center. In it, you'll find a diagram outlining the overall layout of the Space Center. Alright, thank you. Oh, here we are. So we got bomb floor, first floor, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Launch pad 1 on the left, and Space Museum on the right. For more detailed look at what's on the left side of this building. Ah, we even get this side. Take a look at this cross-section that we, the police, have created. There's a shelter on the bottom floor. First floor is an elevator, it looks like. Second floor is nothing. Third floor has a lounge. I hit the wrong button. See the launch pad in the main building. Third floor is the lounge that connects to the launch pad. Fourth floor, fifth, and sixth have nothing. Middle level, ladder, upper level, elevator, lower level. The launch pad is the square building, and the rounded structure is the main building, right? you got it. The incidents took place in Launchpad 1 and in the main building lounge. I'll be using this diagram during my testimony. It'll make it easier to understand. Thank you, Bobby. Cross-section view of the main building of the Space Center and Launchpad 1. Alright. Witness testimony. Here we go. Still interesting how we're just jumping straight into this case without any investigation. This is usually something that they usually reserve for the first case. Though there have been a couple times in the past where they've done this as well. Details of the case. Just before the rocket was set to launch, 2 bombs went off. Boom! Boom! One on the second floor of the Space Center's main building, and one in Launchpad 1. Okay, so one bomb was set off in the second floor and one in the actual rocket. We saw the one that was in the rocket, but I didn't know about the second floor one. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts were in Launchpad 1 at the same time. The 2 of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge. But after they escaped, one of the 2 was found stabbed to death. A murder on top of a bombing. Detective, the victim was already dead by the time you arrived at the lounge, correct? Yep. Thinking he'd sabotaged the bombing, the defendant killed him right there in that rocket. Just look at this tragic photo. Yeah. I'm curious, what's that capsule? Oh my. Is that a knife in the victim's chest? Yes, Your Honor. It's the knife that cruelly ended this young man's life. We couldn't get any prints off of it, though, because the defendant was in the spacesuit. Utility knife added to court record. The victim's blood was found on his blade, but no fingerprints could be lifted. Ain't that a little weird? Hang on. Actually, never mind. By the way, Detective Fulbright, why are the victim's helmet and right glove absent in this photograph? That's actually what I was going to look at. I was actually just thinking it until I thought, never mind. That's the wrong person who could have been holding the knife. So why is that? We had to remove them to identify him, Your Honor. I personally removed his glove during the investigation. We had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity, after all. Fair enough. Yes, it would be very difficult to identify him without a face or fingerprint. Well, there's just one more thing I'd like to inquire about. What is this round thing next to the victim in this photo? Something so important to the victim, he took it with him as he escaped the launch pad. A capsule that apparently contains asteroid samples. While obviously valuable for research purposes, and has no relation to this case. Okay. I see. So, we know that the bomb in the main building was on the second floor. Well, where was the bomb that was in the launch pad 1 located? That one was on the rocket itself. It was situated around the central part of the rocket. Apparently, the area around the launch pad's elevator was a sea of flames. I would like to submit this diagram report into the record. Thank you. The explosion sparked a fire on the second floor of the main building and the middle level of the launch pad near the elevator. The trials just started and we're already in a bind. You get used to it. Besides, that's what cross-examination is for, right? What the 2 astronauts were doing during the bombing. That'll be the key. Alright, we're already in a interesting situation, I gotta say. Feels like everything I've known about this game so far has been turned sideways. Alright, just before the rocket was set to launch, 2 bombs went off, boom boom. Hold it! Okay, hang on. How powerful were the explosions? Well, the one in the main building wasn't strong enough to bring the place down. But the room it went off in was burned black. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Due in large part, of course, to me stepping up to lead the evacuation. Wait, what were you doing there in the first place, Detective Fulbright? I'm Bobby Fulbright, hero of justice. I'll be there wherever and whenever people need my help. I'd go to the other side of the world or even the edge of the universe. I'm not sure how he knows how far that actually is. But I guess I'll leave that one alone. Admirable decision, Justice Dono. Huh? What do you decide? Anyway, could you describe what it was like at the Space Center at the time? I like how I feel like Blackwell and Apollo just had like a telepathy moment there. It's just like I feel like Blackwell knew exactly what Apollo was just considering. The bomb cut the power to the central bank, elevators, and the third floor lounge. It was pitch black in there, I tell you. However, the security cameras and whatnot were running on emergency backup. And how did the evacuation go? I immediately and heroically whisked people down to the Space Center's basement shelter. The basement shelter? Yes, there's an emergency shelter beneath the Space Center.
An emergency shelter, huh? Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom of the diagram.
I did see that. Yep, he's not lying about that.
The Space Center is pretty impressive to have its own shelter.
Bombs went off despite tight security. Police officers and Wright police who had been standing by gave the evacuation instructions. Power outage and evacuation seem unrelated to the murder at this point. I guess I'll leave that aside for now. So, there were 2 explosions in total, correct? Yep, that's right. Thank you, Bobby. One on the 2nd floor of the Space Center's main building, and one in the launch pad 1. Okay. Let me get straight. Mr. Starbuck rigged a rocket he was going to board with explosives? Huh? What are you talking about? He was riding the rocket. If the defendant really did plant the bomb on his own rocket, he could con the explosion as well. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Fine. A simpleton for a simpleton. Fulbright, the motive. Understood. The defendant actually had astrophobia. Excuse you? What? Astrophobia? What? Don't tell me that's a fear of space. A fear of space, naturally. Just as the thought of space can cause the afflicted to freeze up. Okay, listen. I don't deny that that's a thing. I acknowledge that astrophobia is a thing. I know people who have that. But you're telling me an astronaut has that? What? A famous astronaut, mind you. And so, in his terror, the defendant found a way to stop the launch at the last minute. That's absurd. Unfortunately for you, we have evidence. Take a look at these. What are they? These anti-anxiety tablets were found among the defendant's possession. Apparently, he was taking them in secret to quell his fears. There were a multitude of problems with the rocket Mrs. Starbuck rode 7 years ago. Rumor has it, it threatened to crash a number of times as well. That was, of course, very traumatic for Mrs. Starbuck.
Objection!
But Bro's an astronaut! But that doesn't mean he goes so far as to blow up his own ship. That too!
Silence!
That just seems a little off... The defendant couldn't bear to mar his good name, now could he? No, not after the media had branded him so... Soul Starbuck, space pioneer extraordinaire. Given these conditions, the defendant could hardly run away like some base mutt. What, so that's why you think he resorted to the bombing? Naturally. He constructed this act of sabotage in an attempt to blow up the Space Center, which would effectively abort the launch, but spare his reputation. Now I'm sure you understand why we have to bring justice to this down on this atrocious criminal. Still. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts were in the launch pad 1 at the time.
Hold it!
Are you sure it was only the 2 of them? No one else? It was just before the spaceship was set to launch, so of course it was only those 2. No stowaways? Well, there could have been somebody else inside that rocket.
Silence!
No. The notion of a third party in Launchpad 1 is utterly absurd. Just to enter the area from the lounge, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device. And allow me to state up front that there are precious few with the clearance to do so. A fingerprint recognition device? It sounds as futuristic and complex as a space center. Actually, it's not as amazing as you think, Your Honor. Take a look at this photo. Oh, what? This is a door in the lounge with the fingerprint lock. Only personnel with fingerprints who are registered who can pass through. I see. That is very different from what I had in mind. And is there a record of the number of people that passed through that door yesterday? Yes, there were only 3. The defendant, the victim, and... the director of the Space Center, Yuri Cosmos. Then doesn't it mean it's possible that the director is one who did it? Not a chance. He was in the main building when the bombs explode at 9:28. Doing his job directing the launch. Besides having an alibi, he has no motive for committing these senseless acts. He has a point. I guess the director can't be considered a suspect then. A biometric door lock operated by fingerprint recognition. Only the defendant, the victim, and the Space Center director had access. I feel like we're not going to get anything to actually, like, get rid of this testimony. I don't think there's going to be any contradictions. I think we're just mostly using this testimony to get evidence, since we had no investigation. The two of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge. Alright, hang on. So, while it would appear that the pair bravely escaped with their lives, in actuality, one of them had already been murdered inside the rocket. That's the angle the prosecution wants to push, correct? You got it. In fact, that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. If the victim had been alive, he would have been for sure tried to stop the bombing. Is there any chance Mr. Terran could have been killed before he boarded the rocket? They were both alive and well at boarding time and embarked under their own power. Their hearts full of hopes and dreams of space. And then both their hopes and dreams were dashed. If I may continue my explanation, after the evacuation order was given, the defendant made his escape, carrying the victim to make it look like a rescue. But after the escape, one of the two was found stabbed to death. Got it?
Hold it!
And who was the first to find the victim? Actually, there were two of them. The Space Center director, Yuri Cosmos, and Detective Candace Arm. Oh, hey, she's alive in this part. Yeah, that's right. She's not dead yet. One of them was a detective. Yep, Detective Arm specializes in bombings, you see. She and the director were ordering the evacuation following the explosions. They were also worried about the astronauts, so they hurried over to the boarding lounge. That's when they discovered the victim along with the defendant. Two witnesses, huh? And one of them is a detective. I doubt either one would have anything to say that would help me. I think that pretty much covers the details of the case. Only the victim and the defendant were on the launch pad when the former was killed. If this is the truth, then only Mr. Starbuck could have carried out his crime. What little I could get out of him only hurt my case. Justice, don't know. Foolish is the warrior who rushes headlong into battle. Preparation is an essential element of battle, so I advise you to take a gander at this. What is it? Footage from the security camera. As the two astronauts emerged from the bowels of the Launchpad 1 corridor. Oh. The boarding lounge security camera captured their desperate escape. I'm trying to see if I can see a knife in the other guy. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't see a thing. Now, it could just be the angle, but I don't see a single stab. Now, I would direct your attention to what the defendant is shouldering. What you can see is none other than the lifeless body of the victim. What? Judge? Order! Order, I say! This lines up exactly with what the prosecution has been asserting. I should have known Blackwell would have had something like this ready. Video showing the defendant and victim's escape from the corridor to the boarding lounge.
Apollo, how exactly did they determine that Clay was already gone in that footage?
Ah, I see what you mean. Whether Clay was still alive at this point is pretty crucial. Hang on. Your Honor, please take another look at the footage. Isn't it possible that Mr. Terran was still alive here and that Mr. Starbuck was helping him? Why, I believe you're right. One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship.
Silence!
No. Perhaps that's what it looks like to a one-eyed hothead and a dotard. But it only makes sense if it's the victim's dead body. What do you mean? Fulbright, explain it to Justice Stoner. You got it. Ready, kid? If the murder had occurred in the lounge, someone could have spotted it. Anyone can enter the lounge, after all. But doing it while they were alone in the spaceship, that's a horse of a different color.
Objection!
Boy?
But you can't deny that there's a possibility the murder could have happened in the lounge. All the video shows is a man helping his fellow astronaut out.
Silence!
Your assertion is based on emotion. It's based in your belief that Mr. Starbuck would surely help his own disciple.
but you have no logical explanation as to why the victim could still be alive.
Unfortunately, Mr. Justice, the prosecution is right. Your argument is lacking in sound logic.
But it sounded perfectly logical to me.
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further objections, I believe it's time to bring this cross-examination to a close. Objections? Well,
Hold it!
Huh? Athena?
Your Honor, the defense requests a little time to think and regroup.
Given the facts, I'm not sure I see the need.
What is it, Athena?
It's just... there's something that's been bothering me.
If it isn't the defense stalling for time, as always. Very well. I'm feeling generous. You may have a small measure of time.
Yes.
Small. You have 5 seconds.
5 seconds?
After that, I declare this cross-examination to be closed and a verdict to be rendered. Your baldness, raise your gavel high. It is time for a countdown.
Oh!
Ready?
We don't have time. Spit it out, Thea.
Only 3 more seconds.
Look, I don't think the prosecution's explanation is very complete. Meaning? Meaning there's something missing. Like they conveniently left it unexplained.
Something they didn't explain.
You're right. I think I know what you're talking about.
Your 5 seconds are up, Mr. Justice. Is there anything about the prosecution's argument you'd like to rebut?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, there is. There's something the prosecution has yet to make clear at this point.
Well, if you put it that way, what is it that the prosecution has failed to explain?
I would say it's how, like, why was the body moved?
Right.
They have failed to explain why Mr. Starbuck would bother bringing the body back at all. If the defendant wanted to kill the victim, why didn't he just leave the body in the rocket?
Actually, wouldn't it have been better to leave the body in the rocket? The rocket was going to explode. If the whole rocket exploded, then wouldn't there be a chance that, oh, I don't know, the body itself would have been blown up, destroying evidence?
Why go through the trouble of bringing him all the way back to the boarding lounge?
Oh, that's true. I don't think we've heard the prosecution's thoughts on that yet.
That's because they have none, Your Honor. After all, how does one explain something so illogical? The prosecution is claiming that the defendant moved the victim's dead body. But what if the entire premise of that argument is wrong?
Then let's hear your theory, Mr. Justice.
The defense proposes that the defendant didn't kill the victim. He was helping him.
Fulbright, explain for our sad friend here before I nod off to his monotone monologue. Inform him exactly why Spaceboy moved the victim.
Huh? They've got to be joking.
It's simple. Mr. Starbuck didn't need to direct suspicion away from himself. He wanted to create the impression he heroically risked his life to save his partner. That's why he made sure to make it into the security camera so there'd be a record.
At the very least, he appears to have achieved success with you and the old man.
One man carrying the other's safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship.
Yet the average person wearing a spacesuit weighs easily over 200 pounds. Saving the life of a partner who weighs as much while trying to escape deadly flames. What a dramatic sob story fit for the silver screen.
Indeed, I was completely taken in by the humanity of the story.
You see? Yet the true ending is that all traces of this hammy act were meant to be blown up. Yes, and now we arrive at the thrilling conclusion. Third explosion.
Objection!
Third?
Huh? What are you talking about? There was no third explosion.
Silence!
Indeed, you are correct. But that is thanks to Detective Arm. It was she who identified and secured the bomb. However, it doesn't change the fact that the third bomb was discovered in the lounge. The steel coffin beside the witness stand. That would be a bomb transport case. We used that to transport the deactivated bomb here. It was found in the lounge. And a bomb in the form of a most distasteful toy.
What?
What? One on the second floor of the main building, one on the launch pad, and one in the lounge. The defendant planned to set off 3 firework displays. Fortunately, the third was discovered before it could be detonated, for had it not, the victim's body and other vital evidence would surely have been immolated.
Objection!
So would the defendant.
Before you utter a word, know that the evidence supports me.
It's like he's reading my mind.
As it is still undergoing forensic investigation, I do not have the evidence on hand. However, know that a peculiar item was found in one of Mr. Starbuck's pockets. And that is? Specifically, a bomb detonation switch.
Oh. You found what?
I suspect the defendant had no time to destroy such damning evidence. When the Space Center director and Detective Arms stumbled across the murder, so he thought to hide it in his pocket. Feeble brain that he is.
No! Mr. Starbuck would never do anything like that.
I have a... Wait.
Ow.
Justice Stono, open your eyes and see the truth.
This appears to be irrefutable evidence that the accused set off the explosions. No! There has to be some kind of mistake. This can't be the truth.
Still can't accept it. You'll believe in your client, come what may. Then why don't you cross-examine the defendant himself?
Huh? This has got to be a trap.
It's like Blackwell's controlling the entire game.
Yeah, it seemed like he was waiting for me to bring up the body moving issue.
Why do you say that?
Because he had just the right argument when I pointed it out. And to really rub it in, he had a decisive piece of evidence up his sleeve, too. He was trying to shake my faith in Mr. Starbuck and break me down.
And making cross-examine Mr. Starbuck at this point was part of his plan, too. Totally underhanded, but I wouldn't expect anything less from him.
Are you done mocking me? Are you done talking about me over there? Now, let us hear from the arch villain, the fiendish murderer himself. Famed astronaut Solomon Starbuck.
Witness, your name and occupation, please.
Solomon Starbuck, astronaut. How did this happen?
Mr. Starbuck, you aren't looking very well. Will you be able to give testimony?
No.
Well, unfortunately, no is not an option. You are being accused of the Space Center bombing and the murder of Clay Terran.
Why did you act as if I had an option?
Please testify to these allegations.
If I take the suit off, it's getting really heavy.
Silence!
It's not the weight of the suit that you feel, but of your sins. Prepare to carry that weight for the rest of your life. Vanish me to the moon. I don't care anymore.
Wow, that was super negative. Is he gonna be alright up there?
He'll be fine. I think. As long as he doesn't totally give up and say he did it, that is. Alright, Solomon, I didn't kill him.
All I did was support Clay over my shoulder, get us out of the rocket. Like always, I took the elevator down the middle level and headed for the corridor. Clay had passed out by the time we got the word to evacuate. I didn't kill Clay, I was trying to save him.
So you assert you didn't set off the bombs or murder the victim?
I bet you think I'm lying, right?
I reserve all judgment until after I've heard your full testimony.
I'm sure you don't believe me. I bet you don't even believe I'm an astronaut.
I don't think the judge doubts that.
Could wear a suit like that except an astronaut.
I will say that when I saw you in that movie, you appeared quite courageous, though I suppose reality has never quite lived up to the fantasy.
I guess I'm just a big disappointment. I really don't care what happens anymore. Oh no, he's completely given up. A depressing fellow. If you were to join me in the clink, I imagine that annoying sighing of yours would rub off on other inmates. Like how it rubbed off on Prosecutor Blackwell a second ago. What? That was Blackwell sighing? Wait, what? Mr. Starbuck's testimony contains a glaring contradiction. The question is, what does it mean? Even if Mr. Starbuck is my client, I can't gun-shy now. It's time to find out the truth. Well, let's first see what we've got here. Didn't kill him. All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us out of the rocket.
Hold it!
So, what you're saying is that the victim was still alive at that time? Of course! He was alive and well.
Silence!
No. If so, then you admit you took a man who was alive and well, and silenced him permanently with this. What? No! Black hole confirmed! Dead ahead! It's no good, Captain! I'm such
Objection!
Stop! Mr. Starbuck, you are not in space. Please give your testimony seriously. It was just nerves. Maybe I should have said he was alive and well. It was more like he was slumped over. Those are complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor.
Hold it!
Is that the elevator inside the launch pad area? That's right. We always use it to get to and from the cockpit. That makes sense. So he was just using the route he always used. In spite of the fact that there had just been an explosion. Huh? I think Mr. Starbuck is hiding something. Something pretty big. Oh, wait. Is it the order of the bombs? Does the evidence say that? Police officers gave evacuation. There's power outage. Security system switched over. Evacuees. Blah, blah, blah. I took the elevator. Hang on. Is it because the elevators couldn't have worked? Is that what we're getting at here?
Objection!
I'm stupid. That statement clearly contradicts the evidence. Except it doesn't. The spam! My mind is in spam.
Wait.
Objection!
Okay, you know what? First, let me just press the rest of the statements. Maybe I'll get something more to my mind.
Hold it!
Ay,
Passed out. Why was he passed out? Probably because of the explosion. The noise and vibration were incredible. It's little wonder a person would pass out, right?
I guess. Not that I'd know.
Been hit by a space debris! The main engine's on fire! It's gonna blow! Ah!
Get up! Yes, I see. I guess it does make sense that someone would pass out. Especially if the person in question is Mr. Starbuck.
Anyway!
I didn't kill Clay. I was trying to save him.
Hold it!
Don't worry. I understand. I'll make sure everything turns out alright.
But everyone's glaring at me like I did it.
Apollo, you have to reassure him better than that. And how am I supposed to do that? Try to imagine how he's feeling and use that to figure out how to boost his confidence.
Mr. Starbuck, think back to what Clay used to always say. It's times like these when he would repeat, "I'm fine" to himself.
I'm fine. Yeah, I guess he did say that a lot. Even if I shouted, Clay will still be dead. What's the use? This is pointless. Could somebody please reassure me now?
Apollo, there's something strange about Mr. Starbuck's testimony.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. There's a glaring contradiction. I was just wondering why it's there and what it means for our case.
Well, it doesn't look like he's lying, at least.
Guess I'll have to show him some evidence. Alright.
Objection!
Solomon, Mr. Starbuck, I need your testimony to be as accurate as possible.
Was I not being accurate?
No, because it's impossible for you to have taken the elevator down to the middle level. What makes you say that, Mr. Justice? Please recall where the bomb went off in Launchpad 1. Also recall that after the explosion, the middle elevator was engulfed in flames. Oh, you're right. Which means... Exactly. The Launchpad's elevator would have been unusable. In other words... Mr. Starbuck, your statement is decidedly inconsistent with the facts. Duh! What? What's with the helmet?
Mission Command! Mission Command! Do you read? Come on! Come in, please!
Objection!
Stop! This is Mission Command. I order you to pay attention! Stop this nonsense and answer my questions, Mr. Starbuck.
The concentration points are really close. Require
Well, he's dead. Mr. Starbuck, we are not in space right now. Please stop pretending you have lost consciousness and stand back up.
I apologize, Your Honor. I forgot I was still on Earth.
I feel like we all just got glimpses of real Solomon Starbuck, the astronaut.
Yeah, he seemed more like an astronaut now than when he was doing all that sighing. Mr. Starbuck, could you please explain the inconsistency in your statement about how you used the middle level elevator?
I was nervous and I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I actually took a different route, I think.
A different route? I hope you're able to deliver a straight story this time.
I'll get right to it this time. Maybe, no, I mean, probably.
Probably. It's understandable to be nervous, but let me remind you, accuracy is paramount in court. Witness testimony. My escape route.
Let's see. My escape route. What I said before was a mistake. I remember now. I took a different route. Maybe, probably, with a capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level.
So you're saying you escaped without using the elevator?
That's right. There's a ladder that spans the upper and middle levels. I used that ladder to get to the middle level. Luckily, the fire hadn't reached the ladder, so we can make our escape that way.
And the capsule you mentioned, I suppose you mean that thing next to Mr. Terran there? Was the capsule that important that you'd risk your life to take it with you?
It almost goes without saying, but yeah, that capsule contains asteroid samples. Therefore, it's invaluable as research material. With this spacesuit on, clay waiting to ton. Securing that capsule is also important.
I need you to answer to the best of your ability. Mr. Starbuck, please remember that your verdict is riding on your testimony.
Maybe I am guilty after all. I wonder if you can see the stars in prison, if it's more comfortable than a spaceship.
Sir, I'm trying to save you. Make it easier for me, please. My escape route. Let's see, my escape route, what I said before was a mistake.
Hold it!
Bro. How could you mistake such a basic fact?
Everybody makes mistakes, but try thinking about the vastness of space instead. From Earth, it takes 4 light years to travel to our nearest neighboring star. So you see, compared to the vast expanse of space, human error is insignificant.
I wish you consider it just a little more significant than 0. Enough jabbering. Get on with your testimony.
I remember now. I took a different route. Maybe, probably.
Hold it!
Could you please be more specific? Maybe? Probably? Did I hear you right, Mr. Starbuck?
I didn't say I heard those things. Mr. Schroll, come in, please. An error has occurred in the sound system. Activate the emergency tin can telephone. Look, you're infected with space.
Silence! Stop this nonsense or I will sever you and your tin can telephone.
Thank you. Those surgeons don't sever anything.
Apollo, is he gonna be alright?
I'm starting to think he's not.
Let's see. Well, when we were running away...
With the capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level. Hang on.
Hold it!
The upper level of the launch pad area.
That's right. That's what I said, isn't it?
Granted, that route does exist. So to recap, you had clay over your right shoulder and the capsule in your left hand?
Yeah, it's really important. So I couldn't let it get burned up. So even though Clay was really heavy, I couldn't afford to carry him with both hands. I did the best I could with him over one shoulder and the capsule in my other hand.
I think I see a problem here. I don't think the meaning of what he just said has hit him yet.
You know what you have to do with that statement. Justice, Dono.
Yes, I know. Well, I've come this far. No turning back now. Time to present some evidence.
So Mr. Starbuck escaped with clay in the capsule, which means... It's just like in the footage. I can see why he couldn't run, though.
He must have weighed over 200 pounds just by himself.
Yeah, and he had to support Clay, who was another 200 pounds. Plus, he had to ensure the safety of that capsule. I don't think I could have even walked under those circumstances.
Walking straight forward is probably about all I would have been able to manage. However, there's another problem. So, hang on. You made your way down, right? But,
Objection!
that's a ladder. Mr. Starbuck, why don't you just tell the truth?
The truth? Let's see. The Earth is blue. No, that's not right. So, I guess the Earth isn't blue? Yeah, that's it.
Stop. The truth, Mr. Starbuck.
Concentration is super low in this area. Remember the emergency oxygen tanks?
Mr. Justice, the witness appears confused. Please help draw out the truth from him. Mr. Starbuck, under the circumstances at the time, you couldn't possibly have reached the boarding lounge via the upper level route.
Huh?
Not as long as this was along the escape route. Your arms are full, sir. Unless you're telling me that you jumped down on all that heavy weight, willing to risk your legs breaking.
Take that!
To get down from the upper to the middle level, where the Launchpad 1 corridor is, you would have to go down the ladder. Isn't that right, Mr. Starbuck?
Of course. That was the only way we could escape.
Objection!
Except you couldn't. But how would that work? At the time, you were supporting Mr. Terran over your shoulder, were you not? And remember, he was in full space gear as well, putting him at over 200 pounds.
Well, it's easy on the moon. Gravity is only 1/6 of what it is on Earth.
Objection!
We're not on the moon. But the Space Center is located on Earth. Short of being an octopus, climbing a ladder with an adult male in space gear in one arm, while carrying the capsule in your other, is impossible, wouldn't you say?
Oh!
So, Mr. Starbuck,
How exactly did you climb down that ladder with your arms full?
Uh,
Mr. Starbuck, come clean and tell us the truth, now!
engineer! Where's that engineer? Oxygen, please! Jackson! Immediately!
What the? He's flying the coop!
Oh, I'm caught in the ceiling! Oh, anyone?
Okay. The defendant has flown away. That's a new one. Bailiff, prepare the cherry picker. We must launch our rescue mission at once.
Well, that's one way to take off while being questioned. I'd rather prove his innocence so he can go to space again someday for real.
Can't say I've seen the defendant ever fly away, but that's a new one. Now then, Mr. Starbuck, do you think you can keep your feet planted on the ground?
Yeah, I apologize for losing control.
Are you ready to tell us the truth? What is going on? This isn't the Mr. Starbuck I know. It appears Space Boy is prone to deception. Witness!
Yes! Yes!
I thought your story odd, but perhaps the inconsistencies can be explained as the result of a medical side effect.
Prosecutor Blackwell, please don't talk about that!
What are you talking about, Prosecutor Blackwell? Medical side effect? Didn't I already state that Space Boy is ironically terrified of going into space? That's why he took some precautions just before the launch. But you see, traces of this anti-anxiety drug were found in his system. Oh. I sense things are about to nosedive. Hang on.
You got it wrong. I told him during the investigation too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication. I swear.
It was found in his system, but he doesn't remember taking it. So is he drugged? How could that be?
Somebody must have slipped them to me. I guess maybe that's why I don't remember. Because of the side effects. Yeah, that's why I don't remember much of what really happened. What?
Order! Order in the court.
We can't get any useful testimony out of him if he doesn't remember anything.
How loud this game can be.
Well, this certainly explains why his testimony kept changing. Why didn't he just tell me he couldn't remember? I guess he didn't want any way to find out he was terrified of going into space.
Maybe I really did do it.
Don't say that!
You're making my job difficult.
Which brings us to the answer of our original question. Of how the witness climbed down the ladder with a dead body.
It does? So what is it?
A dead man feels no pain and makes no complaints, Justice Stoner. So the body was simply dropped down from the top of the ladder.
Oh my. I see. And then the defendant could climb down with his free hand.
Objection!
Hang on, what we see? Drop the body down. Who would do such a disrespectable thing? Besides, dropping the body down would leave marks on the body itself. So you are capable of quick thinking. Yes, you are correct.
Really? Oh, thanks. Ah! Huh? What's this?
It's the oxygen tank from the victim's spacesuit. It's ruptured, and I'm sure you can figure out why. You can't be implying that it ruptured when the defendant dropped the victim's body. I am, for they fracture easily when struck.
Objection!
Stop. Even if that's true, the tank's explosion and shrapnel will leave its mark on the body. Yet, according to the autopsy report, only the knife wound was found on the victim's body. You're clearly grasping at straws with this line of reasoning.
Silence.
A spacesuit isn't heavy for the sake of being heavy, Justice Stoner. It includes the latest technological devices and is made of the fabric of tomorrow. This fabric is made to protect astronauts from the dangers of space. So falling a few earth yards would hardly leave a mark on the wearer.
Objection!
This shouldn't it be impossible to stab someone through it as well? It should. And yet, through sheer coincidence, the knife slipped through a weak spot in the suit's structure and found its way to its target. What are the chances? You forget that our killer is an astronaut himself with knowledge of how the suit works.
He's got me there.
And now my argument has been proven. Spaceboy killed the victim in the rocket and then dropped his body from the upper level. After climbing down, he shouldered the body and made sure the camera recorded them. There's no room for debate about these facts. It is clear that Solomon Starbuck is the only one who could have killed Clay Terran. Here, the report regarding the astronaut's oxygen tanks. Consider it my send-off gift. Feel free to use it as payment to cross the river Styx. The victim's tank was ruptured with 0% left. The defense had 80%. Remaining oxygen is displayed on the left shoulder. Hey, this report is pretty detailed. Let's see. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows the oxygen remaining. I guess that means the glowing sign digits represent the amount of oxygen in the tank. So hang on. I need to look at that because I did not at all check it. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows the oxygen remaining after the incident. The victim's tank was ruptured and the remaining oxygen was 0%. The tank belonging to Starbuck, who claims to have carried the victim, said it was 80% full. Tanks were functioning properly at the time. Okay, I see the problem then.
I'm done for. I'm going to prison instead of space.
Space boy.
Yes.
Take heart. The bejeweled night sky is still beautiful even when viewed through bars.
You mean the stars are seen from prison?
That's right. Your cell will be your spaceship. Picture the view through the iron bars. It's like being an astronaut in your own craft for all time.
That's not half a bad thought.
Mr. Starbuck. Professor Blackwell's got him good.
Spaceship prison cell, fly me my guilt and my despair into the deepest, darkest space. And then, let's get sucked into a black hole together!
Objection!
Stop it! Stop! Mr. Starbuck, you can't give up hope.
Oh. Yes, Apollo.
You know, Clay really looked up to you. He said you were an incredible man. He said you'd never give up your dreams and passion for space, no matter the situation.
He said that?
So don't give up now and help me prove your innocence. For the sake of the man who respects you and believed in you, Clay Terran.
For Clay?
You're wasting your breath. Huh?
Apollo, thank you. I can see things clearly now.
Mr. Starbuck?
I'm fine now. Thanks for reminding me of my life's mission.
Right. We'll both be fine. I'll prove you're innocent. You'll see. And after that, we'll get you back into space.
Rah! You've ignited the booster rockets of my soul! I'm on fire! I am Solomon Starbuck, astronaut, a cosmic hero chosen by the universe itself! This is no time to be whimpering and crying. I can't let you and Clay down. Balderdash. The sun, the moon, all of space is calling me, Solomon Soul Starbuck. Ready for launch. Begin the countdown. 5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
lift off!
If he starts flying. Well, I feel like I've witnessed an actual rocket launch. Oh, you did it! You broke Prosecutor's grip over Mr. Starbuck. Can't take the credit. It was all Mr. Starbuck. He pulled himself through. If you simpletons are done massaging one another's egos, no matter how positive your mood, my advantage remains unshakable. I've but to wait for the final guilty verdict. Isn't that right, your baldness? Can't let up now. I have to stop Blackwell. I have to see this through. Mr. Starbuck just has to make it back into space. For Clay. I won't allow Clay's dream to remain unfulfilled. I've got to destroy Blackwell's argument somehow. Think, Justice, think! If the only people at Launchpad 1 were Clay and Mr. Starbuck, and if Clay was already dead by the time this footage was taken, then the only person who could have killed him is Mr. Starbuck. So the only way to counter Blackwell's argument is... if I can prove that Clay was still alive when they arrived at the boarding lounge. In which case, I should be able to find some contradiction in the evidence itself. Now let's see. About this data we just received. This supposedly proves that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay's body in Launchpad 1. But if I'm going to prove that false, then there must be something I can use here.
Enough of this farce, your boldness. Let's have your verdict.
Objection!
Not yet. Prosecutor Blackwell, you seem to be in not quite a hurry to rush the verdict. But about this oxygen tank data you just submitted now, it says that Mr. Starbuck's tank had 80% remaining while Mr. Terran's had 0. Do you stand by the accuracy of this report?
Of course.
Then you're a fool. Then I guess it simply means that it's faulty, as evidence goes.
You will explain what you mean, Justice Stono.
It's simple. This evidence contradicts the facts of this case. Take a look here at the detailed description and you'll see what I mean. I hope you have some evidence, Mr. Justice, because I don't see what's so contradictory. Yes, Your Honor. Right away. This is evidence that the oxygen tank report... the oxygen tank report stands in contradiction to. It's a different amount. It doesn't make sense. The amounts don't add up. Look at the video. It'll show you all you need. And how does this evidence present a contradiction? The problem is this part here.
Take that!
Note the remaining oxygen in Mr. Starbuck's tank as he carries Mr. Terran. It appears to say 50. Yes, but according to the data, our client's tank had 80% remaining. The oxygen in the tank increased? I see Your Honor finds it as strange as I do. It's bad enough that there is a contradiction, but the increase in oxygen is beyond illogical. Oh my, you're absolutely right. What is going on here?
Silence!
I too find it odd that the oxygen remaining has increased. It would be as odd as if my rations were to increase. But what does that prove? It doesn't change the fact that it was the defendant carrying the victim's corpse.
Objection!
Does it? I think it absolutely changes things. I'm gonna bet you don't get more rations because you don't abide by the rules. Either way, the oxygen remaining shouldn't increase, just as your rations don't increase. Therefore, this new information is critical. We can't overlook it.
Silence!
In that case, do you have an answer to this riddle of the mysteriously increasing oxygen? You better not disappoint, or declare that the inconsistency as mere equipment malfunction. Prosecutor Blackwell has a point, I suppose it could be a simple malfunction. Mr. Justice, if you cannot provide an adequate counter-argument to this point, I'm afraid I must bring this trial to an end. So do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level has increased? Of course I can. The thing to do at a time like this is turn my thinking around. Mr. Starbuck has no memory of it, but he claims to have carried Clay. So this man with the 50 on his tank ought to be Mr. Starbuck. But if anything, the display on his oxygen tank should have been shown an 80. This is a clear contradiction between the report and the security footage. So what I should be asking is not why did the oxygen level increase? What had to have happened to make it look like it increased? Am I making some kind of mistake in my base assumptions here? Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting. Yes, Your Honor. I'm ready to answer. This is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased. Wait, was the victim carrying the defendant? The victim was carrying the defendant. What if it was the other way around?
The other way around? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage. But it turns out, this is where our base assumptions went astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Taryn, but it was the other way around. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Taryn at all. It was Mr. Taryn who was helping Mr. Starbuck to the boarding lounge. It was what? Order! Order! Mr. Justice, you mean to tell me that the person on the right in this image is the victim, Clay Taryn? It's the only way the riddle of the increasing oxygen level can be solved, Your Honor. At this point in time, the remaining oxygen in the victim's tank was at 50%. When the victim was found in the boarding lounge, his tank was at 0%. That's right. There's nothing contradictory about the oxygen level decreasing. This means Mr. Taryn was alive as they made their escape to the lounge.
Silence!
How short your memory is.
Have you forgotten what you yourself proposed?
Even if the victim was alive at this point in time,
How did he descend the ladder with his arms full?
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell, you can't hurt me with a broken blade.
Excuse me?
It's true that we don't know how they got down the ladder. I suppose that matter needs further investigating. But we have proven that Mr. Taryn was alive when he reached the boarding lounge. This fact alone shatters your claims and opens the possibility that the victim could have been killed by a third party. There were two people who claimed to be the first on the scene, but can we truly trust their statements? Let's see. The two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police? Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging. It seems we'll have to hear the testimony of these first two people at the scene. Score. Come to think of it, Detective Arm should be here in the court right now. Bailiff, if you could please show Detective Arm to the stand. Who is saying no? Hey! No! Get away, get away. I have an announcement, everyone.
I have an announcement, everyone.
What's the meaning of this? We're in the middle of a trial here. Apologies, If you couldn't tell, my paranoia has gotten the better of me once more. With audio.
Please remain calm and listen carefully. Someone is reactivating the bomb. The bomb was defused, but it's about to explode. Explode!
Everybody run!
A bomb! Now!
Everybody run!
I don't want to die. Oh no. Everybody's panicking.
Run!
Silence! Endless chickens with a death wish. The lot of you. Hold yourselves before all else.
Come on, Paul. Let's get out of here.
But what about Mr. Starbuck's dream? And who will carry out Clay's final wish? I don't care what happens to me. I'm not letting some bomb blow the truth up forever. I refuse to let things end here.
Apollo, this is no time to be dramatic. If we don't get out of here now, we're gonna die. Come on, this way.
Hey, ow! Let me go!
Apollo.
Juniper? She hasn't evacuated yet. Crap! Juniper! Are you alright?
Paul, no, not that way.
Well, that was an interesting case so far. Oh boy, and now we're gonna skip to after. Okay, investigation day one, investigation day one. Wait, what? Investigation day one, investigation day one. Cool title. In the middle of the Space Center bombing trial, we had another bombing incident. This one, destroyed courtroom number 4.
Furthermore, Apollo suffered massive injuries from being there when the bomb went off. Unfortunately, Juniper Woods was fingered as the courtroom bomber. Athena and I knew she had to be innocent, so we took her case on. And thankfully found the real suspect, right? We managed to clear Miss Woods' name. But then Apollo quit, right? But Apollo sustained further injuries when he was attacked by Ted Tonate. Well, what now?
No! The first thing I see is Apollo's... Oh...
Apollo's a tough guy, but this is taking its toll on him.
Yeah, poor guy, being attacked by Tonate like that on top of all his other injuries. Apollo's resting at the nearby Hickfield Clinic. I've had some experience with that place myself. What an awful turn of events. I never thought he'd land in a hospital of all places. You must miss him too, huh? Now you don't have anybody to tease. Don't worry, he's young. He'll heal quickly and be back before you know it. It's been a while since I last saw Trucy look so down. We won the court case, yet nobody feels much like celebrating.
All right, enough of this, people. This is no time to be moping around. Now dry those eyes, both of you.
You're the only one who's crying, Athena.
Technicalities. Look, we have work to do. We have to take over.
Take over what exactly?
Apollo Space Center case, of course. As no verdict's been reached, there's still a chance. I agree with Athena. We should pick up Mr. Starbuck's case. We have to avenge our fallen comrade. Right, Dad?
Paul hasn't exactly fallen. He's still alive, you know.
Good. Now that's settled, let's get going. Come on, we gotta run. Wait, right now? Now? We better not be running the whole way.
There she goes. I better go catch up. Could you take care of the office, Trucy?
Sure thing, Dad. Let's be careful out there. In the meantime, I'm gonna bake some cookies and fill up my magic underwear for you.
Trucy seems to be feeling a little better. I can always count on Athena to perk everybody up with her enthusiasm.
Oh, she's back. Don't mind me, I just forgot a few things. Wallet, phone, documents, my bag.
Sounds more like you forgot everything. I can always count on Athena for that too.
Alright, you two, let's be careful out there.
Alright, here we go. December 19th, Detention Center Visitors Room. So our client is one Solomon Starbuck. He's so famous, even I've heard of him.
That's right. He's a super famous astronaut who works at the Cosmos Space Center. He's actually up in outer space 7 years ago.
You seem to know quite a bit about him. Now I'm all excited to meet the man. Wow, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard.
Apollo told me about you. You're Phoenix Wright. Paul's mentor, right?
Yes, that's right. Mentor has a nice ring to it.
Don't worry about a thing, Mr. Starbuck. Mr. Wright and I have got you covered.
And you're the new kid that Apollo told me about. Wait! Don't I know you from somewhere?
You mean other than your trial? I don't think so.
Huh?
I guess so. My mistake. My memory isn't what it used to be. My mind and body are kaput. Same goes for my life. I mean, I'm so astronomically lucky that I had a bomb go off in the middle of my trial. Trying to defend me would be like trying to enter the stratosphere without a spacecraft.
Yikes, he's seriously got to stop depressing himself.
Cheer up, Mr. Starbuck. Besides, that thing you said about entering the stratosphere? That just means we'd shine like shooting stars, right?
Shooting stars?
Huh?
You know, you're right. Why didn't I think of that? After all, that's what we're all put on this earth to do, right? To shine like stars.
I guess I shouldn't mention the fact that shooting stars burn out in a flash.
Oh yeah, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Stratosphere me on. Yeah, I feel alive now. You can go ahead and ask me anything you want.
Is that really all it takes? Well, you know, it's better than nothing. So we still got all the same evidence. So, what do you think about this?
The evidence is gonna get me convicted.
No, it's my attorney's badge. I was hoping it would reassure you that we're here to defend you. Evidence isn't just for the prosecution. It can help prove a person's innocence too.
That's a positive spin on things.
I thought that was common knowledge.
Clay always used to cheerfully greet me in a loud voice.
And he did vocal exercises every morning and sometimes until he was hoarse, right?
Exactly. You could always hear him, even through the wall. Hey, wait a minute. Did you know Clay?
No, but like attracts like, as they say. Just the same as Apollo, huh? Do you know anything about this piece of evidence?
No. Sorry, I'm so useless.
No, it's alright. There's no need to get all depressed.
Clay carried me out and saved me. After all that, to be killed with this blade. The fact that the killer might be me.
Now he's got you signed, boss.
I know. Do you know anything about this piece of evidence? You know, I'm gonna do something. I don't know if I had... Just because it seemed a teeny bit on the louder side. I don't know how audio with this game is at the moment. You know what? Screw it. We're gonna keep it the same. I don't want it changed anymore. It's alright. Again, sorry about audio issues. One day I'll figure out a middle ground for everything. One day. No. Enough of the depression. Alright, that's all we got. The case. So, you have no memory at all of the incident?
I'm so ashamed. My memories of the time is as black and clouds a dark nebula.
Still, it's strange you don't remember a thing. Are you sure you didn't take one of those anti-anxiety pills like they said at the trial?
You got it all wrong. I told him during the investigation too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication, I swear. It is true I developed a fear of space because of what happened 7 years ago. And I was taking medication secretly every now and then when my anxiety got bad. Having a fear of space is not something an astronaut can brag about, you know.
Oh, the so-called Hat 1 miracle. Must have been a terrifying experience.
But I'm still an astronaut at heart, come what may. I would never take drugs that might impede my performance just before a launch. That launch meant everything to me. That's more certain than the theory of relativity.
He seems like a completely different person now. This is the face of the astronaut I know.
But the tranquilizers were found in your system.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. But I don't know why. I'm done for.
So he had to have been drugged. That's the only explanation. The question is, by who and why? Why? I mean, was the drugging just due to make him an easy suspect? Or was there something else that he was being drugged for? If you didn't take them, then maybe somebody slipped into you?
Exactly. That's what I thought. It must have been the real culprit. My medication was in my locker. Anybody could have gotten their hands on it.
Maybe the real culprit also planted the detonator switch in your pocket.
Yeah, that's gotta be it. I've been framed.
I'll say. They even managed to plant your prints on the switch before slipping it in. That's a real possibility. Do you remember anything else that might be relevant? Anything at all, no matter how small. Like, about the murder weapon, for example. Who did it belong to?
That knife. I think it came from one of the Space Center utility kits.
Utility kits?
Yeah, staff who work on the machinery are given these special toolkits to use. All the technicians have them, so I doubt you can prove whose knife it is.
Okay, that's actually kind of useful. It has the victim's blood on it from a set of utility tools used by Space Center, or techs. Alright. The Hat One Miracle. As I recall, your last trip into space was 7 years ago, right?
That's right. It was a pretty rough experience. During that mission, we had all kinds of problems with the craft.
You did? What kind of problems?
Power failure, oxygen leakage, busted radio, cracked windows, loose control column. The heat shield came off as we were entering the atmosphere. I thought I was goner. But I managed to make it somehow with the popsicles and the ice packs from the freezer.
No wonder they dubbed it the Hat One Miracle. It's a miracle you made it back.
Space is a boundless place. That's why it continues to capture people's imaginations. But the vastness of space shows us how insignificant we are in the scheme of things. The darkness just goes on and on forever. Never, never, without end. There was nobody else there. Nobody was gonna come and save me. I was all alone. All alone. With nothing to listen to but the sound of my own breathing and heartbeat. I kept scrambling to make repairs, but I couldn't keep my hands from shaking.
That sounds mortifying. An experience like that would make anybody afraid of going up into space.
With the experience you had, weren't you dreading this mission?
What? No way. Of course not. Even now, I want to go up into space so bad I can barely stand. I want to shake off the Earth's gravity and escape velocity and spin around weightless.
But you have to admit it was pretty harrowing. Weren't you even a tiny bit afraid?
I was afraid. Of course I was. Still am. But space is man's final frontier, an unknown world. The cosmic truth is out there waiting for us somewhere.
Cosmic truth, huh? I guess there are people looking for the truth in every walk of life.
No matter how afraid I am, I'm sure I can manage. If I give in to my fear, I'll never find the truth. As long as I don't give up, I can keep up the fight.
One thing's for sure, Mr. Starbuck's passion for space is undeniably the real deal. What about the victim? Tell me some more. The victim, Clay Terran. He was kind of like your protege, wasn't he?
Well, it wasn't a big exaggerated deal like master and apprentice or anything like that. But Clay did think of me as his mentor.
Mentor and the prodigy. What a combination they must have been.
With his encouragement, I knew I could get over my fear and go back into space. But now...
It must have been very encouraging, huh?
Yeah, it's funny, really. Whenever I'd hear him shout, "You're fine!" I always got the feeling everything really was gonna be just fine.
You're fine? Apollo says I'm fine and you're fine all the time too. And I always feel encouraged too whenever I hear him shout it.
Yeah, Clay and Apollo were best buds. They used to come visit the Space Center a lot, ever since they were high school kids. One day, out of the blue, Clay even told me he wanted to be my prodigy. Us who hung around the Space Center so much they were like a part of the staff. One time during ZOG training, I started to panic a little bit. The two of them took turns shouting, "You're fine," over the radio. It was a simple thing, but it was exactly what I needed to hear.
So I'm fine and you're fine were like Apollo and Clay's secret phrases, huh? Wish I could ask Apollo more about Clay and their relationship now.
Speaking of Clay, how do you suppose he climbed down the ladder with you over his shoulder?
Sorry, but I can't even begin to imagine.
But he actually did climb down that ladder, so a way has to exist.
From the freedom of space to the walls of a cell. That prosecutor said the dark night sky isn't half bad through the barred windows.
You're fine. Solomon Soul Starbuck is fine. Everything is going to be alright. And Athena Sykes is fine. Come on, Mr. Wright. You too.
Do I really have to?
Phoenix Wright is fine.
I can't hear you!
The Phoenix Wright is fine!
We'll get you back into space yet, Mr. Starbuck. Believe in your own innocence, and have faith in us.
Apollo believed in you wholeheartedly, and that's good enough for me. I believe in you too.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you. I'll put my faith in you. And I vow to make it back into space. All I need first is a not guilty verdict.
Sure feels nice to reassure ourselves every now and then that we're all fine.
Okay, Mr. Wright. Let's get our investigation of the Space Center started. Pronto.
Good idea. Let's go. Alright, time to actually start the investigation. Ooh. Look! December 19th, Cosmos Space Center entrance. Wow, I was wondering what kind of place this Space Center would be. It almost looks like an amusement park of the future.
Yeah, did you know they even let the public see their rockets up close? Oh, so check it out. Look how brightly the GYAXA logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going.
GYAXA, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program?
Yeah, but why the strange acronym? I mean, what is GYA supposed to stand for? Galaxy?
If that were it, then the whole thing would be something like Galaxy Exploration Agency. Which, if you ask me, I'd have abbreviated to GAXA, or even Gaia.
I guess so. Oh, I know. Maybe the person who came up with the name is just really likes the letter Y.
This exchange is beginning to feel oddly like deja vu.
Anyway, this place is more than just a research facility. It's also a tourist attraction.
Tourist attraction? Don't make me laugh. It's a monument to human race. Who? Galactic Scooter full speed ahead, huh? Huh? Whoa! Scooter! Oh, what the? Hello there, sir. He's on a Segway.
Yikes. Geezer, what's he want?
Look upon me, and look well. Behold the great power of space science.
Pardon me, but you are...
My glorious name is Yuri Cosmos. The director of the Cosmos Space Center. The center of the cosmos.
Boss, that was pretty groan-inducing.
This person is the Space Center's director, then that means...
Ah, so you were one of the first to discover the Clay's body, weren't you?
Yeah, this is Yuri Cosmos. And who was the first to find the victim? Actually, there were two of them. The Space Center director, Yuri Cosmos, and Detective Kandasar.
That is correct. I was honored to be the very first man in all of space and time to discover the body. But let's talk of the incident. Are you by any chance the space police?
You can't tack the word space onto just any old thing, you know? We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We're here to investigate his case.
Oh, and we're Earth lawyers, by the way.
I see. Yes, I've heard about you. In that case, by my esteemed privilege, I grant you permission to investigate. I trust you are appropriately grateful. Now, go ahead, have at it.
I can already tell he's going to be nothing but a trouble.
Don't let him hear you say that, or you'll see what trouble really is. Let's just be professional and ask him about when he found the body, okay? Hello, sir. Look at my badge. Excuse me, but about this piece of evidence.
Let me ask you a question. What will that object contribute to the future of mankind?
What? Not much, I guess.
And how born could it be? Quite unlike the great historical figure Yuri Cosmos.
If he's any more self-absorbed, he'll turn into his very own black hole.
What a shame. Truly, Clay was so young. He was an outstanding man who could have contributed greatly to the future of mankind.
He was an exceptional man, wasn't he?
If he had gone into space, my reputation would have grown even loftier. Why did he have to die before he went into space?
Someone needs to teach him he is not the literal center of the cosmos. Oh. Strange, funny old man. Anything on this? Ooh. I just like that he's on a Segway. I'm actually kind of surprised it doesn't talk about the door, because he was the one other person who used the door. At the moment, he seems like the most likely suspect, admittedly. Simply because he's the only other person who could have entered the ship area. Of course, that doesn't automatically accuse him, but it does make him pretty suspicious, I'd say. Anyways, let's get to talking. So, Yuri Cosmos. So, as director, what do you do here at the Space Center specifically?
Defend peace across the galaxy and promote space development in this country. No matter what obstacles stand in our way, we keep going for the sake of mankind.
I believe I used the word specifically in my question. What the?
Attention all personnel. To break stations. Prepare for break.
Oh, I get it. You just wander around and tell people what to do in a self-important manner.
That is exactly right. Because I'm an important man, my manner is important.
Mr. Wright, this man doesn't get sarcasm.
Well, there's bound to be some people like that here in this boundlessness of space.
What's that? You want to know what it is that makes me important specifically? Very well, I will tell you. I was the central figure at the Hat 1 project. You may proceed to be appropriately impressed. Now go ahead, have at it.
I might be more impressed if I knew what he did for it, specifically. About the bombing. Could you tell us what you know about the incidents from the other day?
I refuse.
What?
Explaining is a job for a common folk, not the director of the Center of the Cosmos. My testimony, which will go down in space history, will be heard in the courtroom.
What? So does that mean you'll be taking the stand tomorrow?
That is correct. I will be the most glorious witness in the history of mankind.
I'm not sure if he really understands what being a witness is all about.
Looks like Director Cosmos is the type that only talks about what he wants to talk about.
Then let's at least try to ask him about the things he might be willing to open up about. What about the Hat 1? The Hat 1 was a rocket that was launched into space 7 years ago, correct? And despite numerous problems, it somehow made its way back home.
I suppose it is part of my job to educate ignorant young folk like you. Very well, I will impart to you the complete story of the Hat 1 project.
Oh, thank you very much.
Hat 1's noble mission was to collect samples from an asteroid, and Mr. Starbuck was a pilot for that flight. Eventually, the Hat 1 reached its planned orbit, from where it launched a Hope probe towards the asteroid belt. From there, the Hope probe began its long, lonely journey into the far reaches of space. Then, after a terrifying struggle, the Hat 1 returned safely to Earth.
That struggle was when the incident known as the Hat 1 miracle occurred, right?
Correct, and it truly was a miracle. Of course, they just had to turn the ordeal into a movie. As for the Hope probe, it did eventually arrive safely at its destination. It obtained a few samples from the asteroid and returned to Earth but a few days ago.
So what kind of samples are they? What's in them?
The samples are scheduled for analysis in the near future. We haven't had time since they just came back the other day from before Taryn's murder. Regrettably, we've had no time to inspect the samples due to everything that has occurred. But this puts our space development program ahead of other countries by several years.
That's quite impressive. I guess this guy isn't just a loudmouth braggart after all.
In the golden age of space development, our predecessors were successful in bringing a moon rock back. That is the greatest achievement in the history of the Space Center. The public fell in love with space and all of its glorious potential.
A moon rock, huh? I remember that being big.
Our endeavors with the moon rock will live on in our work with those asteroid samples. I want to bestow new hopes and dreams for the future upon mankind once again. That is my mission as the man who stands at the center of the cosmos.
I hear there's a lot of research into moon rocks and stardust from asteroids these days. They say the results could potentially have a huge impact on all of civilization. It's like we're in a new space race with every other country out there.
What? Bite your tongue. It's not for anything so base as money or politics. It's all for the brilliant future that awaits mankind, and all for my illustrious mission. With the recent budget cuts, my staff tells me finances are tight, but I won't hear it.
I guess even a space program has to watch its budget. By the way, you seem awfully knowledgeable about this kind of thing, Athena.
Huh? Oh, well, you know, I thought I better brush up for the case.
Is that so?
Well, I'll be on my way. As you can see, I'm a very busy and very important man. Galactic Scooter, fire up the main engine, maximum speed, and engage!
Old man is on the loose. That thing is surprisingly fast. I guess we better get going, too.
You bet. Let's make it so.
What to do?
Phoenix Wright is fine.
Huh? What was that all about?
I thought I'd better get fired up twice as much to make up for Apollo being gone. For stars, I thought I'd imitate him.
So you were doing a voice workout, huh?
Yep, you have to push your voice up from the pit of your stomach. Hold it! There's a contradiction in the witness's statement.
You're really serious about this.
Objection! You are lying. The true culprit is the judge.
What? Then who's gonna hand down the verdict?
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Well, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles figured that one out. Just have there be 2 judges. So, what do you think we should do next?
Oh, that's right.
What is it, Athena?
I just remembered I forgot to go running today. I was so taken up with what happened to Apollo, it slipped my mind.
That wasn't what I was asking. Boarding lounge. Well, what in the hell is happening here? What is that outside? What? So this is where Mr. Terran was murdered.
Yeah, it's the lounge. Let's see that diagram the police made again. Right now, we're in the main building here on the right side. On the 3rd floor. Claim Mr. Starbuck fled here from launchpad number 1 after the explosion.
You there! No admittance without express permission.
We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We've come to investigate.
Sorry, nobody gets in without permission, not even the police superintendent. Can't have Detective Fulbright getting mad at me.
So Detective Fulbright is here, huh?
Yes, he's in the Launchpad 1 corridor. Go get clearance from him and then we'll talk.
Leave it to me. I'm great at getting intel out of Detective Fulbright. Let's see, what trick should I use on him today?
I don't know if I should be grateful or afraid.
So, to get to the Launchpad 1 corridor... we just have to go through that door with the blue rocket on it, I think.
Wait, that door... it looks awfully familiar.
Get eye there, boss.
Yeah, it's that door.
This is the door claimed Mr. Starbuck used during their escape from the Launchpad.
Ah, that explains it.
The fingerprint system has been deactivated, so I think we can just pass through. Now come on, let's go.
Fulbright. I've come to terrorize you. Oh, what the? Robot! Cosmos Space Center Launchpad 1 corridor. So this is it, huh? This is the corridor the 2 of them used in their escape.
Yep, this is the only thing connecting Launchpad 1 with the main building.
I see police tape down at the other end. Guess we won't be looking at the launchpad.
After the explosion, this whole corridor must have been filled with smoke.
And the launchpad itself was probably a sea of flames. Must have been pretty scary for him.
Now, where could Detective Fulbright be? Hey, I think that's him over there.
What should I do? Which path is the path of justice?
He seems to be lost. That's funny. This corridor is a straight shot.
Huh? Ah, it's you lawyer people! Welcome to the Space Center! Enjoying a relaxing day off, are you? Here for a little rocket sightseeing? We're here to investigate the scene, same as you. Do you have any info to share?
Boss, if he acts all reluctant to give us information, We hit him with the whatever shall we do act. I'm sure he'll fall for it. Got it?
Are we trying to catch the unruly family dog here or something?
Info on the case, huh? Alright, I'll gladly share some with you.
Huh? What just happened?
Detectives and lawyers seeking truth and justice side by side. I like it. Just take whatever you want from me, you info bandits. I'm in a generous mood today.
I don't know. There's something weird about Detective Fulbright today.
He's an imposter. Well, we need information, so let's run with it.
If you say so.
He's an imposter. You are not the real Bobby. What have you done? The real Bobby wouldn't give us information so willy-nilly.
Something for the lost and found. I'll be sure to take care of it.
No. This is an important piece of evidence.
The victim went into all that trouble to save the defendant. And then he was mercilessly killed. Is there no justice in this world?
Justice was trampled underfoot that day.
That's right. Acts of justice and selflessness are not always rewarded. It pains me to say it, but I've come to realize the truth on that recently.
Sounds like he and his personal philosophy are going through a midlife crisis. Poor Fulbright. Anything on the knife? Nope. Same dialogue as before. No. Stop trying to steal my evidence.
When the explosions occurred, everyone was on the verge of panic. But the important thing is that no one from the general public was hurt. And it was all thanks to the evacuation effort we headed up.
After that, you escaped the building yourself as well, right?
Me? Escape? Nonsense! I wanted to run straight towards the blast. It was the other detectives who stopped me. We gotta get you somewhere safe, sir, they said.
Maybe you should take your own evacuation order more to heart next time, Detective.
Why? I'm invincible!
No. No. Alright, Fulbright, let's talk. Detective Fulbright, could you give us permission to investigate the crime scene?
There's an officer on guard, and we can't get in. Oh, whatever shall we do?
That's an easy one. I'll let them know over there and let you in. Investigate to your heart's content. Take a week if you need it. A month even. Shall I have some snacks delivered? One of my men gives a mean neck rub.
No, that's okay, but thanks.
Definitely not the Fulbright I know.
Why is he being so nice?
Detective Fulbright is acting sickeningly sweet. It's kind of gross, actually. Do you think he hit his head or something?
Who knows? Whatever the case, it's making our lives way easier. What happened exactly? You were here at the Space Center at the time of the incidents, weren't you, Detective? Maybe he's just over the moon about having saved people.
That's right! I was here on a security assignment.
Police are required to secure rocket launches now. I didn't know that.
Yes. Well, you know us. To serve and protect. The explosions occurred while I was here on duty, so I started leading the evacuation.
He's leaving out a lot of details, but okay. Could you tell us more about what happened? Whoopsie.
Of course, a bomb went off in the second floor of the main building. Right after that, the one over in Launchpad 1 also blew sky high. So I immediately instructed the visitors and the employees to evacuate the shelter.
The shelter?
That's right. There's an evacuation shelter in the basement of the Space Center. It's there for accidents and emergencies and the like.
So, where were you when the first bomb went off?
I was on duty on the fourth floor. It was quite the madhouse, I tell you. The elevator wasn't working on account of the explosion. And the stairs on the second floor were destroyed, so we couldn't go that way.
Wasn't it impossible to get down to the basement shelter?
No, we lowered an emergency ladder from the fourth floor window and escaped that way. It was a folding ladder, so it wasn't very stable, but at least it reached the ground. After I secured the ladder, I left to take another look around for any other survivors. Once everybody else got out safely, I made my way down to and headed to the shelter.
Wow, what an ordeal. But climbing down an emergency ladder kind of sounds fun.
Thank you for your answers, Detective. They were very helpful.
In just a moment, I have some more information to share with you. But don't tell Prosecutor Blackwell, okay?
Wow, and Prosecutor Blackwell usually has you on a short leash, too.
Well, never mind that. I thought you should know that there was a witness. A witness, you say? Could you tell us more about this witness? Sure thing. The witness was a Space Center employee who was on the 4th floor. While she was climbing down, she looked through a window into the 3rd floor lounge.
So, she was looking into the crime scene from the outside.
That's right! And it was just a matter of chance that she saw something that important. Not that I know that what she saw exactly yet, though.
You don't, but that's the most important thing of all.
Don't you worry, I'll get around to interviewing her soon enough. She should still be somewhere here in the Space Center. You might even run into her.
4th floor employee, huh? Alright, thanks for the info, Detective Fulbright.
Gee, you sure are being cooperative, Detective. A little too cooperative, even.
Yes, well, actually,
Something you can't talk about?
yes, something like that. Anyway, never mind. Don't worry about me. Well, I'll be on my way now.
What was that all about?
Something is definitely going on. I'm gonna get it out of him the next time I see him.
Okay. I'm not so sure he'll talk about it, though. Well, you have permission to investigate now. Let's head back to the boarding lounge. Let's move! It just now occurs to me there's a seat there up top. Whee! Boarding lounge.
Oh, you two. Detective Fulbright's granted you permission to investigate. He also said I should bring you some snacks or give you a neck rub, too, if you'd like.
Oh, that's alright, but thank you for the offer.
Well, time to roll up our sleeves and start investigating. Let's see. Where's that diagram again? So, this lounge is on the 3rd floor of the main building. And according to Apollo, this is where he believes the third party killed his friend.
Well, let's stop the recap and start looking for traces of this third person, then.
Read my mind, Athena. We'll make that our first priority. There's just one problem, though. This room... it's just so big.
Don't worry. We can use this to help us.
A Space Center pamphlet for tourists?
Yep, picked it up at this entrance. The maps inside should come in handy. Let's see. Yep, here it is. A map of the lounge. This is the door we went through to talk to Detective Fulbright.
Oh yeah, that's the door with the fingerprints recognition lock. Well, I guess this map will make things a little easier. Space Center pamphlet. A pamphlet for visitors to the Space Center includes a diagram of the boarding lounge.
Yeah, no more excuses. Let's track down the third person.
Wait, there's just one more thing. What's that strange creature moving around outside the window?
Oh, boss. It's just a holographic image.
Oh yeah, I knew that. Whew, that's a relief.
There should be a button somewhere in this room to turn the image on and off. That's what it says in the pamphlet, anyway.
The only reason you're so eager to start is so you can push that button, isn't it?
And what's wrong with that? Let's just look for the button while we're looking for clues.
Alright, fine. Let's get investigating. At first glance, it looks like a peaceful landscape, but then there's that creature.
Didn't the Hope probe go to some planet? Maybe this is what its surface looked like.
Oh no, I think it would have made the news if they discovered a creature like that.
It did make quite a bit of news, though, when the probe came back.
Yeah, but the Hope probe didn't even go to a planet. It went to an asteroid. That's a big rock kind of thing. Even aliens can't live there. Chairs. That's some pretty futuristic looking furniture over there.
According to the pamphlet, those are no ordinary chairs. They're like amusement park teacup rides. You can power them by yourself, it says. If you spin the table, your chair spins too.
Why would anybody want to have something like that here?
It's for astronauts who have trouble with the device on the ceiling. No vertical spins. It says it's a training device that's easy on the eyes and on the body.
Can a person really call themselves an astronaut if they can't handle zero-G? That's a question for somebody else. What is this thing? What is this?
A window. And it's right next to the holographic image, too. I bet it's here to help people see the stark contrast between reality and virtual reality.
Way off. Says emergency ventilation. You know, to clear smoke from a fire.
See, it's pointing out the virtual insanity of reality.
Here's another door. So it looks like there are 3 doors that lead in and out of this room.
Well, let's check. Drum roll, please. Ta-da! The Space Center pamphlet. We're here at this place that says Boarding Lounge 1. Here are the 3 doors. Let's call them lefty, righty, and downy.
People usually say west, east, and south in a case like this, you know?
Details, details. Anyways, take a look at the west door. That door with the rocket icon leads to the Launchpad 1. I know because it says here on the map, Launchpad 1 corridor.
So that's where we were. With a detective, it was filled with smoke after the explosion.
Right. Next up, the right-hand side of the map, or east in your world. That's the door with the satellite dish icon to signify communication, aka the control room.
Yep, it definitely says control room. Looks like it has another door on the opposite side.
They communicate and exchange information with rockets and probes in space from there. So it's the center of the Space Center. The Space Center, if you will.
Does everybody start to talk like Director Cosmos after they've been here?
But it seems like they built a new command center on the 6th floor. That's what they used for the Hat 2 mission, so this control room was empty at the time.
I've always wanted to see the inside of this mission control room, and since we're here...
I'd love to do that too, but it doesn't look like we'll be able to. They want to keep curious kids like you out. So the door is protected with fingerprint recognition. Only the director can go through.
That much security. I'm definitely not the one they're looking to keep out, Athena.
So apparently, the lock is also hooked up to a backup generator in case of emergencies.
The door locked to the east. It can only be operated by the director. Backup power lets it function even when the power goes out. Okay, what about that last door?
This lower door... Oh, excuse me. I mean, south door. It leads to the elevators.
This is the door we came through when we entered this room, right?
Yep, and of course, there was no fingerprint recognition device, so it's open to anyone.
But the elevators weren't working at the time due to the explosion.
Well, that's about it for the 3 muscadors of the boarding lounge.
Thanks. Understand the layout of the lounge should help us understand the case. That's why I thought we'd better have a good grasp of where all the doors are. Camera. That's supposed to be the security camera that recorded the astronauts making their escape.
Oh, let's commemorate this occasion with a love and peace.
If you're done now, shall we move on?
Yeah, okay. But just one more for the road. Geese!
Very mature. Look at this chair! No matter how I look at it, all I can think of is torture device. But I guess it's a training device for getting used to zero-G. Uh-oh, Athena has an odd glint in her eye. Is she thinking about trying that thing out? I should try to stop her. But I'm afraid she'll just outmuscle me.
Hey, Mr. Wright, look at that up there.
Oh, what the? Some kind of fragment. It's stuck in tight. Oh, so that's what the glint was all about.
The color looks familiar. I think it's part of an oxygen tank.
I think you're right. If that's here,
it means Clay's tank ruptured after they arrived at the boarding lounge. So Prosecutor Blackwell's theory that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay down the ladder must have been wrong. This proves that both the astronauts were alive when they reached the boarding lounge.
So Apollo was right. The scene of the murder wasn't the launch pad.
Way to go, Apollo.
Oh, that's gonna be important. What is this back here, if I might ask? Oh, hey, footprint. Here's another amazing piece of equipment. Walk on the surface of the moon, it says.
Oh boy, I want to try it. Krabby is weak on the moon, so I bet I can do mid-air somersaults.
We're still on Earth, remember? Besides, it's connected to the ceiling.
Well, at least I can jump really high.
There's a sign on the wall that very clearly says don't jump too high.
What good is this thing?
Didn't I say in the beginning, walk on the surface of the moon? What's this? What's this? Trapdoor?
It's a trash chute. The cleaning robots throw the garbage out from here.
The robots do cleaning? What a futuristic world we live in. I just hope they don't revolt like they do in science fiction movies.
No way. All the robots here are very nice. Actually, wasn't there one in the Launchpad 1 corridor? We can go say hi to it if you want.
Wait. What's this? Eh? I saw that. What is this? Hello?
Hey, I see something shiny down there.
Let's take this cover off then.
What's this? It looks like a metal jelly bean.
That's a bullet. It's really small, but it's a bullet. It's only about 2 to 3 millimeters in diameter. Let's see. That would make the caliber 10? Point 10?
Caliber refers to the diameter of a gun's barrel, right?
Yes, but I've never heard of a point 10 caliber gun before. This bullet must be for a special kind of gun.
If you tried firing a bullet this small with a regular sized gun, it would just fall right out.
Yeah, it must have been a really small gun.
Where will the bullet end up here? I mean, we're in the bottom left on the south door side of the room, according to this map.
So why is there a bullet here?
That's pretty far from where Clay's body was. Maybe the police didn't think to look here.
Yeah, leave it to Detective Fulbright to accidentally hand us just the card we need. Discovered in a gutter that runs along the south wall of the boarding lounge. It was fired from a .10 caliber handgun. Well, well, well. That seems important, as all could be. Anything else of intrigue? Nope. Anything else to look on this side of the room for? Oh, wait. Bright purple sky, plenty of greenery, and a tranquil lake. The idyllic scene stretches as far on as the eye can see. It's beautiful, but it lacks something to make it truly captivating. Whatever you say, Phoenix. Oop, the door. What's this?
I wonder what this big knob is for. It looks like the knob on a stove.
Well, it's the same shape, but I think that's where the similarities end. I mean, it's behind a glass pane. What kind of stove would require knob security like this?
Well, the knob's straight up and down, so if it was for a stove, the burner would be off.
Right, if it was for a stove. Still, I wonder what it's really for.
Something turned on by a knob that's not a stove? How about a rocket engine? If you had to start the engine here, the rocket would take off before you could get in. Then I guess all we can say for now is that it's a mystery knob.
Bruh. So this is the fingerprint recognition device. I guess you put your hand on this hand mark.
My guess when you can try. Now, to line up my hand with the outline. Don't, Athena, this thing is related to the case. Get your prints all over that, and the next thing you know, you'll be named the suspect. How can you be so cool, little girl like me?
I'm not buying those tears, Missy.
Let's see, this door is... Where's that pamphlet? Here we are. It's the door to the corridor that leads to Launchpad 1. We went through it earlier when we went to talk to Detective Fulbright.
So I guess the security lock must be disengaged now, right? They say the corridor was filled with smoke at the time of the bombing. This thing beside the door... This must be the fingerprint recognition device.
Which reminds me, I think Prosecutor Blackwell talked about it at the trial.
The notion of a third party in Launchpad 1 is utterly absurd. Just to enter the area from the lounge, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device. And allow me to state up front, there are precious few with the clearance to do so. Then does that mean the bomber's prints were verified by the system? But the number of authorized personnel was supposed to be really small.
Voila! Fingerprint power. I brought this in case something like this came up. I found it at the office. I've been just itching for a chance to use it.
Wow, way to think ahead. Now, let's test the fingerprint recognition device and see what we can find.
You got it. Now sprinkle some here and a little over there, and... Let's see what we have here. Oh, we got something. Oh, it's only a single set of prints.
Isn't that a good thing? Sure wish we could figure out whose prints they are. Although I doubt we'll be so lucky as to get the culprit's prints on the first try.
Well, I'm willing to bet that Detective Fulbright has some fingerprint data.
Right, and there's that security footage of this door, too.
Yes, here it is. It came up in court the other day.
Wish we could see the part of the footage just after this bit.
Oh, because that would be right before the murder, wouldn't it? Let's ask the detective. With the mood he's in, he'll probably show it to us right away.
Let me take some water. Yeah, he's in almost too good of a mood today. Let's go see if we can't find him. If we can find him again once we're done with this room. What in the world are the... Whoa, what? Whoa! There's some interesting things over here. Hold on. There's some kind of panel with 2 buttons on it here.
Just push it. That's the invariable principle of buttons.
There are such things as buttons left unpushed. Oh, hey.
Hey, giant holographic image disappeared.
Yeah, thought that side of the wall seems kind of barren without it now. Still, let's see if we can't find anything new with the image off. Oh, wait. That spiderweb's still there, though. That's not a spiderweb, that's a crack. Hang on. What?
Hey, Mr. Wright, take a look at this.
It looks like a bullet hole. Great find, Athena.
It's pretty big. Whoever fired this shot must have been using a pretty large gun.
You think so? Based on my experience, I say this was fired from a regular pistol.
Well, whatever size it was, somebody fired a gun here, right?
Apparently. This is an important fact. Did you see a bullet around somewhere?
No, the police might have taken it, though.
Interesting.
Let's ask Detective Fulbright about this bullet hole later.
With the holographic image off, the screen is completely black, which, for some reason, makes me think of losing an argument to Prosecutor Blackwell in court. But at least it's got my brain revved up. I come up with my best ideas at times like these. Don't know if that's a good thing. With the holographic image off, the screen is completely black, which for some reason... Blah 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 blah.
Oh, a mirror! How thoughtful of them to put one here.
Thoughtful?
So ladies can fix their makeup. One's appearance is just as important in space as it is on Earth, you know. You never know when you're going to run into some other life form, after all.
I doubt anybody who thinks that would ever become an astronaut in the first place. What are these, if I might ask? These are apparently oxygen capsules. They're for recovery after a training section. Ah, I got it.
I wonder if they can change your voice. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Huh? Didn't do anything.
It's not helium, Athena. It's oxygen. Alright, let's observe the obvious then. Nothing special. Boy, if you don't... So this is where they discovered Clay.
Yeah, he was already dead when they found him. Let's take a look at the photo.
So he was stretched out like this and... Huh? What's the thing that looks like a thermos?
That's the thing that Prosecutor Blackwell mentioned when I was in court with Apollo. He said that it contains asteroid samples.
Oh, right. Director Cosmos mentioned something of that too, didn't he? That they were brought back only 5 days ago by the probe at the Hat-1 launch?
I wonder what they look like. Do you think they'll let us see?
Let's think about it after we've solved the case, okay? What the?
Welcome to the Space Center, guests. Welcome.
Yikes! What in the world?
My name is Ponko. P-O-N-C-O. Ponko. Are you sightseeing? Are you lost? Are you looking around? Choose one. I will guide you.
It's a robot?
I am not a robot. I am Ponko. Psychological observation and navigation companion. P-O-N-C-O. Ponko.
Well, I'm glad we got that cleared up.
Oh, Punko, I've missed you.
Huh? Do you know this thing, Athena? Why do you know this? What?
Oh, she, showed us around the last time when I came here with Apollo. Oh, you're such a good girl, Punko. That's a good girl. Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm so happy, very happy.
Wow, a guide robot. That's pretty cool. My name is Phoenix Wright. Nice to meet you.
I don't know you, I don't know you.
Huh? Ouch, that hurt.
Oh, she has to register people she meets for the first time. Please register him, Punko. Certainly. Commencing guest registration. Please tell me your name. A nickname is fine too. His name is Phoenix.
A bit overly familiar, but I'll allow it.
Phoenix, please let me get a good look at your face.
Oh, sure.
Registering. Facial registration sequence complete. We are now officially friends. Nice to meet you, Phoenix.
Huh. This robot's pretty cute.
You made a friend, boss. Isn't it great? Phoenix, Athena, allow me to guide you. Right this way. Oh, goody. Let's go, boss.
Go where? Where are we going? What the? December 19th. Cosmos Space Center. Space Museum. Woo! Oh wow, what is this place? Is that a rocket reel?
Welcome, welcome. The Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Learn about the history of our nation's space development in the Hat 1 project. The rocket is just a replica, but it's the same size as the real one. Space Museum. Oh, here it is on the map.
Yeah, it's on the opposite end. Okay, so it's on the exact opposite side of the main building from Launchpad 1. Got it.
Ask me anything, anything, I will explain.
Well, evidence.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know anything about that.
Oh, okay, no problem.
I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I wasn't helpful. I'll try to do better in the future. Please don't hate me.
Oh, poor thing, now I feel bad for you. Anything? Anything here?
This facility is Yuri Cosmos' greatest achievement.
Oh? I didn't realize it was the personal achievement of just the one man.
Director Cosmos taught me to say it like that. It's actually a facility for space development, but don't tell anyone I said that. How could Director Cosmos teach such a pure innocent robot to lie for him?
Let's ignore that for now. I wonder if this robot knows anything about the murder. Sorry.
Sorry won't cut, Missy.
Anything? I'm going to assume no, but that's the same as before. Never hurts to check, at least. No dialogue. Alright, just had to be sure. The Hat one. This is quite the place. I can't believe we get to see a rocket this close up.
This is a replica of the Hat 1 that was launched 7 years ago. It's exactly like the real Hat 1, inside and out. Its little brother, the Hat 2, was supposed to launch the other day.
I wonder if Punko knows why the launch was cancelled.
Over there is an exhibit about the launch 7 years ago. Check it out, check it out.
Eh? Wait, hold on. What's that gash in there? Spacesuits, foes, newspaper articles. Why's it come here again on a day off? Hey, what's this a photo of?
Phoenix, that's the staff of the Hat 1 project.
Well, I see Yuri, I see Solomon, I see, Clay, I see Punko. And I see two people who I do not recognize. Anything off about any of them looking? Oh, there's Mr. Starbuck. Looks so young and so different.
Ah, and that's...
What is it, Athena? Something wrong.
Oh, nothing. I just thought Mr. Starbuck looked really young too, that's all.
Well, it was 7 years ago, after all. So the young guy standing next to the Mr. Starbuck.
So it's Clay Terran, the victim.
So I were mentor and protege even way back then. And he's even got one of the staff jackets. It looks like a regular staff member.
No, Clay was still a student then. He just borrowed one of Solomon's old jackets.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Clay would have still been in high school 7 years ago. Everybody looks so happy. The Space Museum is great. What a fantastic What fantastic exhibits.
This area used to be Launchpad 2. That's why the only entrance is on the 3rd floor.
Wouldn't it be better if they just made a new ground floor entrance instead?
There was talk of it, but they had to scrap their plans because of the budget cuts. Budget cuts, budget cuts. We need more money, money.
Who would record that kind of information into a guide robot?
While it was in space, the Hat One launched a probe called Hope. The Hope probe collected some samples from an asteroid and returned 5 days ago.
That's what Director Cosmos said too. He told us it came back the day before Clay was killed.
And here it is, the Hope space probe.
I think I've seen that logo somewhere before. Let's see... Oh, yeah, the capsule that was the victim was carrying. I think it had the same logo. I want to see something. Okay, now that matches up. I think I can be seen in the photo attached to the autopsy report. Maybe she'll give me some more info if I show it to her.
The way the Space Center launch pad is set up is really cool. Would you like me to tell you about it? Would you?
The setup of the launch pad. Down on my spike-eared mind.
I wanna know. I wanna know. Phoenix wants to know too.
Great. Now Athena's got a case of punctulitis.
Hooray, I will tell you then. The rocket is built right inside the launch pad structure. When the rocket is complete, it's moved along with the launch pad over to the rails.
Woo! Sweet!
And brought into position at the launch site. Isn't it cool? Isn't it? We used to have a big budget, so that's how we could build it all.
It's very cool. Grand setup that suits an important place like the Space Center. I guess everyone is hoping for a bigger budget next year. Myself included.
I'm guessing the whole thing is operated from the control room, huh? That it is, but it can also be operated from the new command center too. Either way, the safety lock in the boarding lounge has to first be disengaged.
I guess before a big move like that can be carried out, there are all kinds of procedures.
Would love to see the launch pad being moved. When's the next one scheduled? Searching data. All future plans have been put on hold.
Because of the bombing and the murder, I'll bet. Which is perfectly understandable, yeah.
Well, when was the last time it was moved? Searching data. I'm sorry, that answer is in my answer database.
I guess Ponko can only answer certain things. Ponko. Ponko, do you recognize this capsule here in the top right?
Checking registered data. I know, it's the Hope capsule. It was carried inside the Hope probe.
Contained the asteroid samples, right?
Yes, it was designed to store the samples gathered by the Hope probe. It's been stored in the safe in Launchpad 1 ever since it returned to Earth. It must not be removed. It must not be removed.
Don't worry, Ponko.
The people in charge already know what happened. They do. I must ask them later.
So the capsule was being kept in Launchpad 1, huh? Maybe Clay was trying to carry it to safety after the explosion.
The Space Center staff must have been really excited to finally get the capsule back. But it's a pity if the incident occurred before they got a chance to check the contents.
Well, the police took it as evidence, so they'll have to wait a little longer. Hope capsule found in the victim's possession. It recently returned from a 7-year mission and contains an asteroid sample. Well, we certainly learned a lot about the Space Museum.
Thank you, Ponko. You explained everything very well. I love to explain. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
You're like old friends. It's hard to believe you just met recently.
It's because Ponko's so friendly.
Well, what should we investigate next?
Let's go find Detective Fulbright. We have things to ask him about.
Let's see, the security footage and the fingerprint data, was it? Okay then, let's go back to the Launchpad 1 corridor.
Bye, Ponko. See you later. Come again, and don't forget to visit the gift shop.
Or Ponko. What a Dickensian in life we are all forced to live. Alright, let's go back to the Launchpad corridor. Detective! Launchpad 1 corridor. What should I do? Which path is the path of justice?
Here's Detective Fulbright. He still seems to be lost, even though it's a straight corridor.
Let's hope he's still in a cooperative mood as well then.
If he doesn't cooperate, then I'll just have to use my powers on him.
You mean that lady in distress bit? Oh, hi! Well, I guess we can talk to you first. Bullet hole at the scene. We found a bullet hole in the wall at the crime scene. You did? Our team found that too! It was Detective Arm who fired that bullet. Detective Arm? That's right! A warning shot for the defendant! Was it really such a high threat situation that she needed to do that? I'm afraid I don't know the details, but what with Detective Arm gone and all?
But I thought there were two people who discovered the crime scene together.
We already know Director Cosmos will testify, so tomorrow will be about what he knows. Hey, you're pretty smart. That's exactly what we're planning to serve as a main course. Hope it goes down easy. What about the fingerprint data?
Detective, we'd like to run a comparison on some prints we found in the boarding lounge.
Ah, yes. I just happen to have a compiled the print data of everyone related to this case. I can always make another copy for myself, so it's all yours. Consider it a gift. This is quite a bit of data. Well, when I said everyone, I meant it. Prosecutor Blackwell said to dig deep, so that's what I did. It sure took a while, though.
Whoa, he's got Apollo's and my prints. He even got prints for all the robots.
I guess when Blackwell said to dig deep, Fulbright didn't bother to ask how deep.
These fingerprints are here too.
I personally removed his glove during the investigation. We had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity, after all. That's right.
I still can't believe you took off his glove to get fingerprints.
Yeah, well, you can't blame me for thinking they're important in this case. There are a lot of doors that require fingerprint verification in the lounge. But depending on whose prints we find, it can completely change the tide for both sides. Makes sense. After all, culprit's prints did get them past the fingerprint lock somehow. Oh, and take this picture. It might come in handy. Eh? Isn't it just a photo of the Launchpad 1 door? Yep, but Prosecutor Blackwell seemed really interested in it for some reason. What's so important about this door? Weird. Beats me. But boy, could you see the gears in his head go into hyperdrive at that? Sounds like this is going to be a major point of contention tomorrow.
Hey, don't forget about the print comparison, boss.
Right. Detective Fulbright, do you think you could run the test for us right now? You just leave it to me. In justice we trust. Alright, let's see whose fingerprints we found. Okay, here we go. Well, it looks like it was Mr. Starbuck who opened that security door. Must have opened it when they went to go board the rocket.
His heart must have been full of hopes and dreams for a space adventure right then.
Starbuck's prints were found in this door lock. Ah, security cam footage. Detective, about the security footage that was taken by the boarding lounge 1 camera. Oh, that footage. Go ahead and ask me anything you'd like about it. Is there any way I could see a little more of the part just after this? Easy as pie. I'd be glad to show you. Here we go. Huh? The screen went blank. Yes, apparently the after effects of the explosion damaged the wires. Still, there's no footage after this point. Why didn't you just say so from the beginning? The video ends immediately after this scene. Something definitely seems to be up with you, Detective. You're unusually cooperative. Well, I just figure if we work together, we'll get that much closer to justice, right? But it seems like something's really been bothering you. You don't have some ulterior motive, do you? What? I don't know what you're talking about. I would never do anything like that. You're lying. Of course. Finally, getting more of these. It's been a while. Those are definitely psych locks. Did you just mouth psych? Is there something I should be psyched about? No, psych lock. The system of locks and the secrets in a person's heart. I can see when people are trying to hide those secrets by using the power of this Magatama. Presenting evidence can break through those locks and reveal any secrets they're hiding. Miss Rice, how much did they bilk you out for that piece of rock? If you've been swindled, I know some lawyers I can introduce you to. I'm more than capable of representing myself, thank you very much. It isn't some kind of fraud. It really works. A friend gave it to me a long time ago. I guess seeing is believing. Allow me to show you. Let's see what presenting the Magatama will reveal, shall we? Whoopsie. Keep hitting the wrong button. I want to hit options. Or I just want to move my mouse to the bottom right of the screen to whenever it's not being used to look at something. Anyways. Fulbright. Enough the lies. Why you're being cooperative. I think you're hiding something, Detective. So why don't you just tell us about it? What to do? Which path is the path of justice? Detective Fulbright is really in agony. I bet this is the issue he's so torn up over. Justice? I really understand what's bothering you, Detective. I truly do. Something happened that goes against your principles, isn't that right? No. I don't know what you're talking about. Until the explosion occurred, everything was just fine. Is that a fact? Yep. Peaceful as peaceful can be. Everyone whistling a happy tune as they did their job. You never saw a more relaxed guard detail for a routine rocket launch. I don't think the guard detail was as relaxed as you claim as long as this exists. Is it this?
Take that!
There must be something wrong with my sunglasses today. You aren't presenting that to me as evidence, are you? See if you can find me. It's just as I said. Until the explosions occurred, everything was just fine.
Take that!
Before the explosions, what was supposed to happen here was a rocket launch. And yet, security was so tight, they even brought in a special task force. I'd hardly describe that as relaxed guard detail. Hold on just one moment. The entire nation had their eyes on this extremely important rocket launch. That's why I was called in on a special security detail. As versatile as you are, I can certainly believe that's true. But I'd say it's very strange that this person would be a part of that detail from the outset. Wait, Candace? Why was a bomb specialist there?
Take that!
Hang on. Detective Arm specialized in bomb cases. The fact that she was here on hand, it's almost like you were expecting a bombing to happen. It means that you people knew there was the possibility that a bombing would occur. You got me, Miss Wright! So, you guys knew a bombing was going to happen. Spill it. All right, I concede you win. It's just as you say. A few days before the launch, they were warned about a potential bombing. But the plan to launch went ahead in spite of the threat.
But why? Why were they planning to do if someone got hurt or killed?
Yeah, I know. The decision to move forward wasn't exactly just, was it? How was the warning delivered? By phone, and directed to Director Cosmos. But the police department instructed everybody to keep it under wraps. It's a big thing to keep quiet about. No wonder you were so upset. But it's not only that. I've been distraught about Prosecutor Blackwell as well. Prosecutor Blackwell? Well, as his handler, I'm sure you would have a lot of difficulties. That's not it. It's a question of justice. I've been wondering about why he's allowed to stand in court.
Reason he's still prosecuting? Detective Fulbright, please tell us everything you know.
We need to know more. What is the truth behind Blackwell? Well, talking to you folks about it would definitely be breaking the rules.
Never mind that. What are rules but things to be broken, right?
Well, to tell you the truth, having a prisoner act as a prosecutor is highly irregular. I think we guessed that much. So why is it being allowed? I've been wondering and wondering about it.
So, you weren't told why either, huh?
No, I guess the order came from pretty high up the ladder. Yeah, it would have to have. But Prosecutor Blackwell told me once. The hunt I've been on for the phantom of 7 years past continues even still.
7 years past?
Phantom? A phantom, huh? Not one of the friendly variety either, I gather. What is a phantom? This phantom of 7 years past. Any idea who or what he was talking about? Not a clue. But he seems to think that this phantom is behind the whole incident somehow. Wait a minute. He thinks they may be connected to this case. Yep. This case has way too similarities to what happened 7 years ago. For starters, that case happened right here at this very space center too. And in both incidents, a threat was issued via telephone. So that's why Prosecutor Blackwell thinks this incident is the work of the Phantom. Well, that's not the entire reason. I mean, if you want to talk about 7 years ago... that's when Prosecutor Blackwell was found guilty of murder. That messy case is what started the whole dark age of the law. So you see how this Phantom and Prosecutor Blackwell's conviction might be related? Yeah, I can see why I'd think that. This incident in the Phantom, not to mention Blackwell's past, it's almost inconceivable that they would come to a head here.
This might sound crazy, but Prosecutor Blackwell can't possibly believe Mr. Starbuck is a Phantom person, right? I mean, he was acting kind of strange during the last trial and all. Prosecution appears to be ready as well.
Silence! Not yet. I'm not quite ready yet.
Hmm? No, I doubt he thinks Mr. Starbuck is the Phantom. But I do get the feeling that he thinks the defendant has ties to them. Which is why he's acting so impatient. He's got a personal grudge against Mr. Starbuck. And that's not real justice. I've always trusted in Prosecutor Blackwell's judgment until now. But this time, I'm just so overwrought about it all. If he's lost his ability to think rationally, I'm afraid it might lead to a false conviction. I've never seen Detective Fulbright so tormented. This must be why he's so cooperative. Don't worry, that's exactly what we defense lawyers are working to prevent. I feel bad for Prosecutor Blackwell, but I'm going to be rooting for your team this time. But don't tell him that. You have to promise me you won't. Detective Fulbright. I guess I was wrong about you. I swore to reform Prosecutor Blackwell and make him a valued member of society again. So I can't just sit by and watch him give in to his emotions and tear the defendant apart. You are the only ones who can stop him in court.
You really care about and want what's best for Prosecutor Blackwell, don't you, Detective?
Aww. Leave the courtroom to us. It's not like we want a guilty verdict either. I was hoping you'd say that. I'm really grateful to you two. Keep hanging around, bud. To show my thanks, I'll give you another bit of information. It's about the eyewitness. I saw her hanging around the Space Center entrance a little while ago.
Really? Let's go find her, Mr. Wright.
Thanks, you two. I feel a lot better now that I've been able to get that off my chest. I'm going to work extra hard to find that perfect piece of evidence for you. In justice we trust on 3. 1, 2, 3! In justice we trust! Okay, later.
There he goes.
Wait, were we supposed to say Injustice We Trust back there too?
Let's go see that witness now.
Alright. Space Center entrance it is. Hello? Who's here? Cosmos Space Center entrance. Witness must be around here somewhere. Oh, hi.
Hello, hello.
Uh-oh. Don't tell me the witness is a robot.
Hello. Come over here. Hello, hello. Are you sightseeing? Are you lost? Are you... I don't know why, but this robot's kind of freaking me out.
Hey, you're not supposed to be wandering around. Oh, hi.
Again?
I've had it with you, you hunk of junk.
I'm outside. Am I wandering? When did that happen? Okay, welcome back, hunk of junk. You don't know how close you came. If you didn't snap out of it, I was gonna put you on the curb on trash day. Nothing works better than a 42.5 degree karate chop.
That's pretty specific. Excuse me, but are you the one who witnessed the murder? Oh, and I'm Phoenix Wright, the lead attorney for this case. How do you do?
Big shot lawyers, huh? I'm Aura Blackwell.
Wait, what? Huh? What? Blackwell? Wait. What?
I'm a researcher developing robots here at the Cosmos Space Center.
Blackwell? Could she be?
And this good-for-nothing robot is named Hunka Junk. My name isn't Hunka Junk. My name is Clunko. That's me, Miss Aura. Quit complaining. Your model number is Punko too. Yeah, but Miss Aura, everyone calls me Clunko. Quit your squawking already. No, what are you doing? No, don't. There. I bet you won't be talking back now. Yeah, I will update completely.
Yikes. I better watch what wires I cross with this one. Can you tell me anything about this piece of evidence?
Even if I could, I wouldn't tell a filthy lawyer like you.
What a pleasant response. Oh, I'm too curious. Your last name? Your last name is Blackwell. Do you have a relative in the legal profession?
You are correct. Simon Blackwell, who used to be a prosecutor, is... Shut up. Only speak when I order you to speak. Simon is my little brother. You know him?
Oh, huh. Interesting. You're the older sister. Yes, we met him in court a few times. Right, Athena?
What a dull creature. Has her switch been turned off?
Athena being shy? This is new.
Oh yeah, I heard he was prosecuting again. Despite being a prisoner. That isn't just sick to solving disputes among inmates in prison, right? Hey, what do you think, Hunko Junk? Miss Aura, that hurts. I'm asking you a question. Why don't you answer me? Answer me, useless hunk of junk. But, Miss Aura, you told me only to speak when you order me to speak. I told you to never talk back to me. You're worth more scrap.
Robot abuse, hog attacks. Blackwell family life must sure be interesting.
Well, do you have any other questions? Wait, of course you do. You're a lawyer. It's not like I'm on Simon's side or anything. I just want to get this over with.
Alright, then let's talk. So, you're the person who witnessed the incident.
That's right. I was on a 4th floor of the main building. In the robotics lab.
Okay, that adds up.
The explosion disabled the elevators. So I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. But it was such a pain. Why couldn't they have used the ladders in the other rooms?
Must have been a very troubling experience. Probably best to just humor her here.
Then, as I passed by the 3rd floor boarding lounge one window on my way down, I saw the crime as it happened. And that's about it.
So you saw the crime as it happened, and that's about it. I see. Wait, what? You saw it being committed? This is no time to just nod and repeat. So, you saw into the third floor lounge. The very scene of the crime.
That's right. There's a small window on the right-hand side of the room. I looked through that from the outside.
Oh.
The room was pitch black, but I saw a shady figure holding a lighter in their left hand. And a knife in their right.
That must have been the culprit. Did you see who that person was?
Of course not. The power was out on that floor then, and there was only that tiny window.
I see. You did witness the moment of the murder.
Yes, I saw the figure with that lighter raise their knife and... It happened at precisely 10 a.m.
Did you witness anything else? Did the killer have any distinguishing features?
I already told you, it was pitch black in there. Although, I did notice that the lighter the person had in their left hand had a pretty ornament on it. It looks like a planet. It was blue. Like a little Earth emblem. It had a good taste in knickknacks anyway.
An Earth emblem on a lighter. Better remember that. The purple lighter with an Earth emblem on it in their left hand and a knife in their right. Got it. Thank you. Thank you for your statement. We'll definitely prove Mr. Starbucks innocent with it.
Yeah, right. I won't hold my breath.
Pardon me?
Oh, did I hurt your feelings? Sorry. I just detest lawyers. That's all.
What don't you like about lawyers?
It's just an instinctive dislike. But don't feel bad. I hate prosecutors even more.
That didn't make me feel any better, actually. Why do you hate law? Why do you hate lawyers so much?
Little thing from my past. The whole legal system is meaningless in the first place.
I certainly don't agree.
I mean, people are imperfect. They lie. They're influenced by silly emotions. You can't expect such imperfect creatures to uphold a reasonable system of law. I like robots much better. Even set sacks like this one.
Hey you, look alive there! He's not okay.
Yes, here I go. I am the ultimate robot with the amazing process. I can operate a vacuum under high speed. Robots for the world. Alright, that's enough out of you. You're getting a little too carried away. Yeah, what was I doing? Yep, I like robots much better. At least you can make them any way you want. Unlike humans, with their petty emotions and constant worries. How can you say such things? Feeling emotions, worrying about the things we care about. That's what makes us human. Well, the girl finally talks, and she starts with a speech. That's what makes us human. You mean getting angry and snoring like that? Rational thought. That's what separates humans from animals. Unfortunately, your reasoning capabilities are more akin to that of a clever little monkey. But that's nothing to be ashamed of. It must be nice to have such a simple mind. Can I punch your boss?
Get hold of yourself, Athena.
Humans certainly are absurd. I said you were clever, didn't I? Poor thing. Tell me, with people like you in charge, how can I possibly trust the legal system?
So she distrusts not only lawyers and prosecutors, the whole legal system? What in the world happened to this woman to make her so bitter?
Even if somebody important to me was killed, I would never wish to see their killer brought to trial. Because I'd much rather kill them myself. You can't be serious. The thing you're wearing around your neck. Oh, this!
Around Athena's neck? Does she mean widget?
Oh, I get it. Well, well. Her Royal Highness has returned at last to her castle.
Her royal what? Is she talking about Athena? Wait, Athena, what relation do you have here?
By the way, I heard the rumors. Our director is going to be the star witness in court tomorrow, right?
Director Cosmos. Yeah, that's right.
You poor things. You better be careful. That old man is a big liar and a huge braggart.
What?
He might seem like a bigwig, but the center has all kinds of problems. He has a lot of skeletons in his closet. But it's your problem, so why should I care?
What, that's it? No friendly tips? No good luck, guys? Just splendid.
I'll leave you to your woes. Come on, hunk of junk.
You alright, Athena? It's sad to me that she doesn't believe in our legal system anymore. She must have a very bad experience to make her feel that way. Are you alright, Athena? You seem very down.
I just can't believe she said all those things.
Wow, she's really upset. Has she been trying to not let it show all this time? Well, I guess it's not all that surprising. You hear about fabricated evidence and false indictments on the news all the time.
You mean that whole Dark Age of the Law nonsense? I'm so sick of hearing about that.
Well, all we can do is believe in what we're doing.
Yeah, you're right, boss. I agree.
Maybe it's time we went back to see Mr. Starbuck.
Good idea. We should tell him about the bullet in Miss Blackwell's statement.
Alright then, next stop. Looking at my phone, sorry. Blackwell! Any water? Attention center, visitors room. My lawyers are here. It must be bad news. Hey, not necessarily. We found a new witness. A researcher saw the moment of the murder through the lounge window during her escape.
Really? So they're going to let me go?
Unfortunately, it was dark, and she couldn't identify the person. I should have known. My stars never aligned just right, too.
But we got a lead too, Mr. Starbuck. The murderer had a lighter with an Earth emblem on it.
A lighter with an Earth emblem?
Oh!
Did you remember something?
Yeah, I sure did. Just a little bit, though.
Anything at all would be a help, so please tell us what you remembered. Alright, let's hear it, Boyo. What's this lighter?
I thought I was unconscious the whole time. But now I remember I woke up for a few brief moments.
That's huge. Do you remember seeing anything?
A lighter. I saw the flammable lighter floating in the darkness.
Good, good. What else did you see? What was nearby?
It was definitely the boarding lounge, so it must have been after Clay carried me there. In the light from the flame, I saw a dark shadow flickering.
A dark shadow? That must have been... the third party we've been looking for! Thank you, Mr. Starbuck. You've been more help than you know.
If we can prove there was this third-party person at the crime scene, and that they're the real killer, then you'll be cleared of all suspicion. The key will be whether or not we can identify this third party in court tomorrow.
At least we have something to go on now, and that's a big plus. I should probably tie the evidence up a bit before someone mistakes me for a hoarder. Irrelevant evidence tidied up. I'm gonna be honest, I did not see anything get tossed out. Actually, no, I do see things tossed out. Never mind.
Now you have a glimmer of hope. I'm suddenly starving. Why don't we go back to the office and treat ourselves to a big celebration in advance?
For someone who's highly empathetic, you can be surprisingly unsympathetic. Oh, is this gonna be Apollo saying he's quitting?
So you found your strategy for tomorrow's trial, huh? Good for you, Dad.
Well, it's one step forward anyway. Hopefully it'll give us a fighting chance in court. As long as we can find out who this third person is.
Now let's get something to eat. I'm starving. My vote's for Eldune's noodles. Oh, Apollo!
Hey. What are you doing here? I didn't think the clinic was ready to release you yet.
My wounds are fine. And I'm done laying around.
Apollo, you're supposed to be in bed. Leave that case to us. We'll take it from here.
Thanks, but that's not an option. Not for me.
Apollo. You shouldn't underestimate your injuries, Apollo, and I don't want you overdoing it.
I'm fine. And I'm not in pain anymore. Besides, they gave me an IV at the clinic.
An IV isn't a cure-all, mummy man.
Anyway, just tell me how the case is going. Have you guys made any progress?
A suspicious figure was spotted at the scene. We think that must be the real killer.
A suspicious figure, huh? Right. I thought you'd be happier than that. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm happy. And I fully intend to see Clay's murderer apprehended. Absolutely nothing will get in the way of that.
Clay was your best friend, right, Paulo?
That's right. Because best friends since junior high.
Sounds like me and Junie. So what was Clay like?
Well, he was full of compassion and energy. And he had a really loud voice.
If the two of you did voice training together, or now, I bet you'd break a few windows.
You know, I bet you're right. Seems like only yesterday. Clay was a guy who lived for his dreams. We used to talk about it a lot. He was going to be an astronaut and me a lawyer. We talked well into the night, and even then, we never grew tired of it. Apollo, about that jacket. Is it... Oh, it's Clay's. I knew it. It's a special jacket that was only issued to members of the Hat Project. He was finally able to get one of his own once he was selected for the Hat 2 mission. He always looked so proud wearing it. But just when his dream was finally coming true, I still can't believe it. Damn it! Apollo, I hope you don't try to carry the burden all alone. I guess we're both unlucky. My own debut was a disaster. I guess you're right on some level. The trial a year and a half ago wasn't exactly the smoothest of starts. That was a rough time for me. But Clay refused to let me quit. You're fine, he'd say. Don't give up. It was right during his screening exams, too. I couldn't become a full-fledged lawyer without him. That "you're fine" of his is why I'm still standing here today. You're fine, huh? I'm fine. You're fine and I'm fine were like your catchphrases, weren't they? Something like that. Sure brings back memories. When we were in junior high, Clay's mom passed away in an accident. But he wouldn't show his sadness to anyone. One night, I found him crying all alone in the school courtyard.
Get away, Apollo! Don't come over here!
Clay, listen to me. I don't have a mother either.
Huh?
Aw.
I always think everybody else has a mom. Why am I the only one? But, you know, when I start to feel that way, I yell at the top of my lungs. I holler, I'm fine! Then you know what? I start to feel like maybe I really will be fine. Apollo Justice is fine! Okay, Clay, now it's your turn. Okay. Clay's turn is fine.
There you go.
Now we're both fine. We're fine. We're fine. What are you laughing about? See? We're fine. You laugh first. I'm fine, you're fine. We're both fine.
Simpler times, huh?
Thanks, Apollo.
When you say it out loud, it really starts to feel real. And as long as you don't give up, you can keep on fighting. That's what we believed. As long as you don't give up. Wasn't there somebody else who said something similar?
If I give in to my fear, I'll never find the truth. As long as I don't give up, I can keep up the fight.
Clay called Mr. Starbuck his mentor and walked up to him. I wonder if I can be a good role model for my staff like Mr. Starbuck. Sorry, Mr. Wright, but I'll be taking a leave of absence.
What? Wait, what do you mean I'll leave?
You're really serious? Can you at least give me a reason why? When I put Clay's jacket on, I swore to him that I would catch his killer myself.
But that's our goal too.
I agree with Athena. We should work together to find the truth. The truth, huh? It's a noble cause. What if the truth you seek and the truth I seek turn out to be different? I'm not sure I follow. What are you saying, Apollo? I'm going to catch the person responsible for taking my friend's life. In my own way. Take good care of Mr. Starbuck for me. Now, I must be going. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Did you just say goodbye? I sensed a lot of seething anger and hatred coming from him. And also, suspicion. If he's not walking out on us like this, I'm gonna go talk some sense in him.
Hold on, Athena. Apollo can believe what he wants, but I believe he's wrong. Even if we take different paths, the truth we arrive at should be the same. I think the quicker we solve this case, the better it'll be for Apollo.
Yeah. You're right, boss.
Alright, that's enough for one day. Make sure you're all ready for tomorrow's trial. Oh, okay. Oh, damn. If he were here right now, Paul would say, I'm fine. Everything is fine. I just hope things really do turn out fine tomorrow. To be continued.
Why not right now, though? We still got an hour of time before my average edge time of ending. I mean, the only other thing that I'm going to be doing later is either doing college work or farming for experience in Persona 3 Reload before I do the next recording session. District Court Courtroom number 5.
Court is now in session. Never mind, I'm not here. Where am I? Help! Help! I suppose we should reconvene the trial of Solomon Starbuck or something?
Objection!
Get up! Your Honor. Could you please come out from under your bench? There are no more bombs. I promise.
Oh, yes, my apologies. I'm still a little jumpy when it comes to trials involving bombs. I mean, first the courtroom exploded. And then Mr. Tenay self-destructed.
His face, yes, but I guess that's one way of describing what happened to Tone.
Anyway, it seems that Mr. Justice was seriously wounded by Mr. Tenay's actions. So you, Mr. Wright, will be taking up the defense. Do you have an understanding of what has happened in the trial so far?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense is ready.
Very well. Is the prosecution also ready? I take it you'd like me to give the opening statement this time.
Looks like the judge has become a pretty good mind reader.
Well, he's certainly seen more than his fair share of colorful prosecutors. You could say something of a veteran of sorts.
Let's see. In the previous part of this trial, we learned that the victim, Clay Terran, escaped from Launchpad 1 carrying the defendant, Solomon Starbuck. There were explosions on the second floor of the Space Center and on the rocket itself. The two astronauts used the Launchpad 1 corridor to reach the boarding lounge.
And?
How could the victim climb down the ladder if he was carrying the defendant? That was the mystery that needed to be solved. But Mr. Justice proved that the victim was killed in the boarding lounge. Prosecutor Blackwell, were you able to discover any new facts related to this point?
Upon further investigation, we discovered an oxygen tank fragment in the lounge. Surprisingly, it would appear that a Justice Donor's argument was correct.
So that means that testimonies of the first two people on the scene are suspect.
There are two people who claim to be first on the scene. But can we truly trust their testimonies?
Let's see. The two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police?
Yeah, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging. And just as our team was about to cross-examine Detective Arm, courtroom bombing incident occurred. The trial was put on hold. That accursed fellow. He killed my witness! He killed Detective Arm!
Definitely put the kibosh on anyone asking her about what she saw.
Exactly. In other words, the question of who killed the victim in the boarding lounge has once again become the main focus of this trial. It's obvious Prosecutor Blackwell still thinks it was Mr. Starbuck. Fulbright said that Blackwell has a thing against the astronaut. Nevertheless, the defense argues that there was a third person in the lounge and that's who killed the victim.
Objection!
I hate you. To make such reckless claims in the courtroom takes a bold man. Or a stupid one. There was no third party in the boarding lounge. Or have you gone dotty already? Old man.
Objection!
I take offense to that. We'll see who's the dotard after I trounce you with my years of experience, little boy. In any case, Mr. Starbuck claims he saw someone leaving the lounge. Furthermore, a Space Center employee also saw a suspicious figure at the scene.
They saw a third person.
I see my sister's been running her mouth. That's right. I almost forgot Thor as Prosecutor Blackwell's sister. No matter, she didn't see this mystery person's face clearly. Therefore, there's no evidence to indicate that this person was not the defendant. I guess the possibility that the figure was Mr. Starbuck is still there. In brief, we need to determine if a third person was there or not. To this end, we should hear the testimony of one of the first people on the scene.
Director Cosmos, huh?
Very well. Bailiff, please bring the witness to the stand.
I brought my scooter in here.
I believe I've seen you before in the newspapers.
Of course you have. Of course you have. I am Yuri Cosmos, director of the Cosmos Space Center, which was of course named after me, Yuri Cosmos. Don't you have anything you wish to ask me?
Looks like he's all geared up to do some bragging.
7 years ago, I successfully launched the Hot One, and...
Everyone already knows how brilliant you are. Even I'm trying to hold back my tears at such a great man standing before me. So could you please proceed directly to your important testimony?
I see this fine young lad has a proper appreciation of greatness. Allow me to begin my epochal testimony that will be recorded in the annals of history.
That speech of Prosecutor Blackwell's just now sounded more to me like he was poking fun at Director Cosmos.
It's probably for the best that it sailed right over the director's head.
Now then, Director Cosmos, the condensed version of your illustrious testimony, please.
What I saw at the scene...
Director, Detective Arm and I rushed towards the boarding lounge together. We went via the control room and peeked in from there to see what was going on. We saw a figure standing in the middle of the lounge and Taryn lying on the floor. I hate to say it, but I can only imagine the figure standing must have been Starbuck.
Sorry.
I see. So in your testimony, you claim you arrived on the scene after two had escaped from the launch pad to the lounge, and just after the victim had been killed.
Oh, the horror, the humanity! What I said is what I saw, and what I saw is what I said. Courageous action to take in the face of such terrifying explosions, wouldn't you say? To save my men, I went personally into the epicenter of danger. Risking my own life for theirs.
Well, what do you know? Sounds like the director really cares about his men.
Yeah, although it sounds more like he was scared and just had a peek from afar.
Is defense ready to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Director Cosmos' testimony is pretty vague. I'm gonna have to press him and draw out more information before I do anything else. Alright, Cosmos. Detective Arm and I rushed towards the boarding lounge together. Got it. Where were you coming from?
The 6th floor. We were making sure any stragglers made their way to the 4th floor. It was then when we heard that Starbuck and Taryn and heard about Starbuck and Taryn hurrying to the 3rd floor lounge. On my galactic scooter here, of course.
Why do you keep calling it galactic? Does it have something to do with space?
Of course! It's specifically designed to be used on galactic battleships.
I see. Then I take it works in 0G2?
Sadly, no. With the current state of technology as it is, I'm afraid it would just float about and be galactically useless.
Well, that's a galactic bummer.
I see. So you rushed to the boarding lounge on your space-age pogo stick. And when you got to the space-age pogo stick, yes. And when you got to the scene, what did you see?
We went via the control room and peeked in from there to see what was going on.
Hold it!
Hang on. Let's see. According to this diagram, you didn't have to go through the control room to get to the boarding lounge 1. It looks like you could have just gone there from the southern corridor as well.
Yes, but in her haste, Detective Arm rushed ahead of me and towards the control room. All I could do was merely follow behind.
I see.
So we peeked into the boarding lounge from the control room door and...
We saw a figure standing in the middle of the lounge and Taryn lying on the floor.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see who that figure was clear or what they were doing.
Sadly, the only thing I could tell was that it was a person standing motionless.
The defendant, no doubt, staring aghast at his deed. What explanation is there? I'm so close, but without evidence, I can't prove that person's a third party.
I don't relish in this, and...
I hate to say it, but I can only imagine the standing figure must have been Starbuck.
Hold it!
Hang on. Aura Blackwell also saw a suspicious figure in the lounge, but she gave the statement that it was too dark to see the person's face clearly. Did you see this figure's face clearly?
No, not clearly. The lighter they were holding illuminated the area around their feet at the time. But other than that, I could see little else. That's why I could see Taryn, but I couldn't see who the other person was.
So for all you know, it might not have been Mr. Starbuck, isn't that correct?
I would like to believe that. Starbuck isn't the type of man who's capable of murder.
Objection!
When the witness entered the boarding lounge, there was no third party there. Isn't that correct, Great Space Center Director?
Yes, that's right. Only Starbuck and Taryn were there by that time. After we peeked in, the lounge suddenly went dark and the figure vanished.
You mean they disappeared? That's odd.
Objection!
The reason the figure appeared to vanish is because it was the defendant. When the witnesses weren't looking, he fell to the floor and feigned unconsciousness.
Hold it!
Hang on. Hold on. Director Cosmos, did you ever take your eyes off the scene?
Just for a brief instant. About as long as it takes for a shooting star to go by.
If you took your eyes off this scene, then this certain person could have escaped during that time.
But what escape route could this person have used?
The direction opposite to the control room, the southern door to the elevators. There's no security lock on that door, so it would have been possible to escape that way.
Objection!
All things are possible, right, Dono? The real question is, do you have any proof? Well... If we're just talking possibilities, we could each profess whatever we'd like. An inmate who used to be a university professor and lunar researcher used to say that there's a kingdom of little green men who live under the surface of the moon. As long as they don't punish us in the name of said moon for what we've done to it. But I say, where's your proof that this quaint kingdom exists? He's calling your theory a work of fiction, boss. And he's right. I don't have any proof yet. Still, the southern door was a possible escape route. I better make that Mel know that. Director Cosmos, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
Why did you look away from the boarding lounge?
There's actually another tale of bravery behind the answer to that. It was when Detective Arms saw the figure and raised a gun. Being a great humanitarian and protector of mankind, I tried to stop her.
What? You're saying Detective Arm raised her gun as soon as she saw the figure?
I imagine her instincts as a detective told her they were the killer.
I don't know about that. And were you able to prevent Detective Arm from firing her gun?
I'm afraid I was too late. I was unable to stop her. She identified herself clearly, and then... she fired 2 warning shots at the shadowy figure.
This information about Detective Arm's actions sounds critically important. Please add to your testimony.
Detective Arm fired the 2 warning shots at the figure.
Objection!
Where's the second bullet, if I might ask? Are you sure you were really paying attention to what Detective Arm was doing?
What? Something written down in the history books?
Stop rapping. Somehow, I don't think that those exact words will ever be written down in any history book.
Mr. Wright, could you please explain yourself so that we can all understand?
You say that Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots, and yet only 1 bullet hole was ever found at the scene. Only 1 bullet hole means the gun was only fired once. And yet Director Cosmos is saying Detective Arm fired 2 shots. No editor would allow such glaring contradiction into a history book.
Objection!
Unfortunately for you, the witness's words are true. We confirm that 2 shots were fired from Detective Arm's gun.
Objection!
Then where's the second bullet? There was only 1 bullet hole at the scene. Where did the other bullet hole vanish to?
Ah!
You should know the answer to that already.
I should?
During the previous trial, a certain oxygen tank was presented as evidence. We've already discussed that it was ruptured in the lounge, have we not? Well, it appears that the thing that ruptured it was a bullet. A bullet that was found near the tank, to be precise. This bullet was fired from a .38 caliber gun, the same caliber as the detective's gun.
What?
The victim's oxygen tank was struck by a bullet. The rifling marks also match up. There's no question that the bullet was fired from Detective Arm's gun.
The bullet found near the victim's oxygen tank.
Rifling marks. They're like a gun's fingerprints on a bullet, correct? Examining the rifling marks on a bullet can tell us the gun was fired from.
One of the bullets was the detective fired found on its way into the holographic image display. The other bullet came to a stop near the victim's oxygen tank. Hang on. The evidence confirms the director's statement that the detective fired 2 shots.
My beautiful contradiction. Gone. All gone.
So that bullet hole was from a .38 caliber, huh? I'd better update the record.
Something's not adding up then.
Very good. Now we know the fate of both the shots Detective Arm fired. Mr. Wright, does that clear up all your questions?
Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots. One hit the holographic display and the other hit the oxygen tank. Does that really clear up everything about what happened in that scene? No, not at all. Because there's a 3rd bullet. Where's the 3rd? No, Your Honor, it doesn't. Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots from a .38 caliber gun. But that doesn't explain the existence of a certain piece of evidence found at the scene. A piece that points to the existence of a 3rd person.
Oh?
Very well, but it won't do to keep us waiting, Mr. Wright. What piece of evidence suggests the possibility of a 3rd person at the scene?
Explaineth to me a .10 caliber bullet.
And what is this metal pellet supposed to be?
Just a little something of great importance we found at the crime scene, Your Honor.
You found it where?
In a floor gutter at the crime scene. It looks like the police and the prosecution both missed it. Furthermore, this is a .10 caliber bullet, making it much smaller than one of Detective Arm's .38 calibers.
Then that means...
Exactly. One more person must have been there in the lounge. A 3rd person who had a gun that could fire .10 caliber bullets. And if that's true, it explains why Detective Arm fired warning shots. This third person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun. And in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos?
It looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mysterious person fired upon us.
What's this now?
What? You never breathed a word of any of this to me before. Well, all great men have a secret or two, don't you know? Foolish old geezer.
So Director Cosmos really has been hiding the presence of a third person all along. Director Cosmos, I want you to testify to the court about what you really saw.
You may be a very great man, but in my courtroom you are just another witness. You won't receive special treatment here. Now please give an accurate testimony.
Witness testimony. What I really saw at the scene.
Detective Arm and I crossed to the control room together. In the lounge, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room and tearing on the floor. We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us.
What?
Given that there was no third person in the lounge when the witness entered it, does this mean the person who fired the gun had to have been the defendant?
Not necessarily. It's still possible that it was someone else. Most likely, as soon as Detective Arm and Director Cosmos discovered this person, they escaped through the southern door, the one that didn't have a security lock.
Objection!
Double-edged swords are a tricky lot. Mishandle one, and it is you who is cut down.
Huh?
Your reasoning could apply if Spaceboy were the killer as well. Think about it. After being discovered, he could have fired the .10 caliber gun. Detective Arm would have responded by firing 2 warning shots. All he had to do was feign unconsciousness to invent the possibility of a third person.
Objection!
But Mr. Starbuck didn't have a gun in his possession when he was found by the police. Nor has a gun been found at the crime scene. Its absence can only be explained if there was a third party who took it with them.
Objection!
Recall the existence of a trash chute in the boarding lounge. The defendant could have simply thrown the gun down the chute.
Objection!
Then check the trash, but you can't deny the possibility of a third person leaving without the weapon.
Objection!
It's up to you to prove that possibility. And I trust you haven't forgotten my little piece of decisive evidence.
What evidence?
Why, the detonator switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, naturally. The most compelling evidence of all that tells us that he is the culprit.
I did forget all about that.
Look, your boldness. How deliciously obvious it is that they lack the evidence to rival mine.
Wow, he sliced our third-person theory into ribbons and served it to us just like that.
Yes, well, I have a question of my own, actually. That bullet that the mysterious figure shot, what did it hit exactly?
That's what I want to know.
It hit me.
It hit me.
So does that mean you're a ghost?
I was wondering when you would realize it, your boldness. Director Cosmos is an authentic, bona fide ghost. He can even pass through walls.
Ah!
Objection!
Bruh, stop.
Prosecutor Blackwell, shame on you for teasing the nice old gentleman.
Your boldness, he was all in jest. Please show yourself again.
Are you sure? In that case, how did you manage to survive being shot, Director Cosmos?
I'm glad you asked. It was a miracle to fitting in a great history-making figure such as myself. The bullet hit my glorious Medal of Honor, where it ricocheted, thus saving my life.
What?
It ricocheted off your medal? That's unbelievable.
I have to check this out. Oh wow, look at that. There's one extra GYAXA star.
I'll be damned, he's actually not lying. The odds are literally astronomical. I guess it really was a miracle.
It's beginning to really feel like the Cosmos is watching out for Director Cosmos.
But why did you conceal this information, Director Cosmos?
A great man such as myself has to hide the things on occasion, no matter how much it hurts. It is the plight of the truly great. It may be hard for this generation to understand.
I don't know, but it sounds fishy to me. What else is he hiding?
Let's just cross-examine him and see what we can find. Now then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Gonna have to really figure out how I can get rid of that detonator as a piece of evidence. As long as that exists, then there's no denying him, Solomon as a suspect. But I assume the second I can get rid of that, Solomon might be free.
Hold it!
Hang on. We've already heard all about that part. Don't you have any new information?
Well, let me see. If you have an hour or two, I can tell you all about the Hot One Miracle.
Hold it!
No, stop. Stop. We already know about that too. Tell us about something related to this incident.
I see. You want to know about incidents? Well then, let me tell you about the many incidents that make me the man I am today. Yes, if you had the time, I'd tell you all about the upgrading of this great man.
Hold it!
You've told us all about that already as well. What we need now is your testimony.
I really already told you all about my upbringing. I don't recall doing so.
Help. Director Cosmos, perhaps you could save your boastful tales for later.
If I must. Well, we peeked into the control room door and...
In the lounge, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room and Taryn on the floor.
Hold it!
But it was so dark you couldn't see this figure's face, isn't that right?
Yes, the room was as deep and dark as outer space itself. Speaking of outer space, during that one launch 7 years ago...
If it's about that Hot One Miracle again, you can sawed off and tell it to a stray mutt.
Excellent idea. No reason why the animal world shouldn't hear my greatness.
And so they shall. But first, your testimony. What happened next? We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us. Whoopsie daisy.
So Director Cosmos was in the control room to the east.
And while he was there, he was shot at by someone with a .10 caliber gun.
But the bullet hit his mouth, so he's able to skip it with his life. He's a very lucky man. No wonder people think he's very great.
Hey, I'm pretty lucky myself, so if he's a great man, I'm the king of all cosmos. La 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 la. Press. So, in other words, you were fired at while you were at the control room door.
That is correct.
There's something not quite right about that. Director Cosmos, the bullet this person fired hit you, right?
Yes, it was a miracle. A miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself. The bullet the figure fired hit me while I was in the control room. But as the Cosmos would have it, the bullet bounced off my glorious Medal of Honor.
In that case, the bullet should have wound up somewhere around the control room door.
Okay, so Director Cosmos was in the control room.
Cosmos, 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 king of all cosmos.
Objection!
Can you explain why this bullet was across the room? Director Cosmos, I believe you were telling this great court a glorious lie.
A great man like me tell a lie? Have you ever heard of such a thing in all of history?
My accusation is based on the positions of the people who are in the lounge. According to your testimony, you and Detective Arm were near the control room door, and the mystery figure was standing at the middle of the boarding lounge. If, as you say, the figure fired a gun at you from this position, then the bullet would have traveled in this direction. However, we found the .10 caliber bullet here.
Oh,
This trajectory and where the bullet was actually found contradict each other. Director Cosmos, where were you really when you were being shot at?
ah!
Wee! Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the human merry-go-round. Wee!
Objection!
Ah, whoopsie. Sorry, Mud.
Don't tell me you've forgotten already. Didn't the witness himself just tell you? The bullet hit his metal. Of this, there's no mistake.
Objection!
Boy, do you know how trajectory works? But in that case, the bullet should have been found near the east side of the room. Are you trying to say that you can explain this inconsistency?
Of course.
I didn't think so. What?
Oh, great Director Cosmos.
Yes? Is there something you'd like me to expound upon?
You are in fact not in the control room to the east, were you? You are looking into the lounge from the door to the south. Is that not right?
What are you getting at?
Use your own brain. Your head must have some use other than housing that bird's nest.
Bird's nest? Why does everyone pick on my hair?
Director Cosmos and the detective witnessed the scene from the southern door. The killer fired at them there, and that is why the bullet was found in the south.
That makes some sense, actually.
Also, the witness being at the southern door is rather favorable for the prosecution.
Huh? I got a bad feeling about this.
How about it, Director? If you don't tell the truth this time, I will kill you.
Handcuffs.
You will become but rust upon my sword. I relish the chance to cut down a great man.
All right. Put your sword away. You are correct. The great Yuri Cosmos was looking into the room from the southern door.
What? It's the complete opposite of all the testimonies given so far.
And now you have lost your possibility that a third person was in the room.
Half? Oh.
The director and the detective were near the southern door. Meaning the killer couldn't have escaped through there. The western door required print recognition. The door beyond was filled with smoke. The only escape route left was the eastern control room door. And the only way to get through there was the Director Cosmos' fingerprints. In short, there would be no escape for any third person had there been one.
My third person just disappeared. Like in one of Trucy's magic tricks.
Order! Order in the court. Director Cosmos, why did you tell us such an outrageous lie?
You were covering up for the defendant. Isn't that right?
Yes, it was all for the love of my men. If I said I was in the eastern control room, would mean the culprit could have escaped through the southern door. It would have meant that there could have been a third person. All I wanted to do was protect Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to prevent an escape room for the third person.
What a convoluted lie. Was he really covering for the defendant?
It looks like we've come to a conclusion. As the defense's argument, the possibility of a third person has crumbled.
No.
It's over.
Yikes. Judge is about to hand down his verdict.
Think, Phoenix, think.
This is the perfect time to try and turn my thinking around. If a third person had no way of escaping this scene, then what if one of the people at the scene was a third person? Wait. What if the whole premise is all wrong? Director Cosmos said that he and Detective Arm rushed to the scene together. But what if that premise isn't true? What if one of them reached the scene before the other one? And if that person entered the lounge, then they would be the third person.
The defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim and shot at the director. There doesn't appear to be any room for any argument against these claims. I will now render my verdict.
Objection!
Not yet. Please wait, Your Honor.
There is still one possibility.
Oh? This had better be good, Mr. Wright.
There is only one person who could have escaped from the scene, and that person would be the first person who arrived at the scene. Then, upon entering the boarding lounge,
the second person to arrive in via the southern door. That's why the first person fled from the room, using an escape route that was accessible only to them.
Very well. Let's hear more about this theory. Who is this one person who could have escaped from the bowling lounge?
I think it's gotta be Cosmos, right?
Take that!
What? But that's... Mr. Wright, what are you claiming here?
Of all the people who were at the scene, only the witness could have escaped. The director is the only one with the authority to open the control room door, after all.
But that means...
Exactly. The true identity of the third person is our current witness, Director Yuri Cosmos.
What? Here we go. Order! Order in the court, I say! Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself in more detail.
I assert that Director Cosmos arrived at the scene before Detective Arm and entered the boarding lounge alone. Detective Arm arrived after that and saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos standing in the lounge. And that's why she fired those 2 warning shots.
It's right. It's a direct hit on the enemy ship, sir. A magnificent shot.
Warning shot fired from the enemy ship! About to intercept! Cosmos, you have told a lie in this court once again! I've been hit! I've been hit on the port side! The enemy has called in reinforcements!
We're at the Cosmos Control Center, requesting permission to ask that you return to reality.
But my ship will not go down to anything less than the ultimate weapon of evidence!
Objection!
Alright, you want evidence? But I do have evidence. In fact, you could say that your battleship bears its scar. If Director Cosmos is the third person Aura Blackwell saw, this third person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun. And in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos?
It looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you are absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us.
Director Cosmos must have been the one who fired the .10 caliber handgun. And Detective Arm discovered him in the lounge. It only makes sense that he would have turned and shot at her. Therefore, the evidence on the director's body is of a different kind of relevance than before. Once we compare it against another piece of evidence, the mark that you received from the third party will be all the proof we need to prove that you were the one there in the lounge. Comparison against this piece of evidence will prove that you were the one in the lounge. This is the bullet. The .38 caliber bullet found on the floor at the scene didn't hit the oxygen tank. It hit Director Cosmos' metal. If we have the ricochet mark on that metal analyzed, I'm sure the caliber will match up. And if that mark proves to be from a .38 caliber bullet, it will prove that you are the third person we've been looking for.
The bridge is destroyed! Losing altitude! All hands abandon ship!
If that's true, then what about the bullet that hit the oxygen tank?
It was the .10 caliber bullet. In other words, it was the bullet fired by Yuri Cosmos. Isn't that right, Director?
No! You got it all wrong! What? The engine have started again! It's a miracle! I'm not going down yet!
Witness, stop this at once and confess the truth.
If you don't want the history books to say that a great man was a great liar,
Then accept your fate and tell the truth.
Are you giving me orders? Me, the great director of the Cosmos Space Center! But the cosmos revolves around me!
he's losing control. Whee!
What am I saying?
Somebody help him.
Order! Order in the court! And will someone stop the witness from spinning?
He is not okay.
Phew. Thank goodness we were able to stop him from spinning off the face of the earth.
While he was twirling, I took the liberty of running an analysis on the mark in the middle. It was made by .38 caliber bullet, matching it with the size of Detective Arm's firearm.
Are you ready to confess the truth, witness?
No! You guys are wrong! This is a misunderstanding!
Is he going to start piling on more lies?
Looks like it. But no matter how many lies he tells, I'll just expose them one by one. I'll make that big liar tell the truth.
Oh, to be continued. Interesting. Well, I think I'm going to actually go ahead and end it here for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you all later. Peace.